Saturday night, 7:56 in the evening. This is Whiskey Hell Podcast, your news week in review. Hopefully getting off your week off to the start that you need to at least laugh your way through Monday, or maybe not cry quite as much. How's it going, Fitz?
Is that what we're doing? We're laughing our way through the weeks now?
That's right. That's right. We're
Dude,
just going to laugh our way through the weeks.
I really wish I really wish pot did more for me. I really do, because if I was ever going to be a pothead, I feel like now would be the time. Yeah, this would be the time to pick up that kind of a habit, because meth, no, that's just
Yeah.
the teeth, and your life goes to shit. I already drink. I mean, and that does the trick. Oh, okay, but hangovers and all of that. Pot just seems to be. I mean, it's just a plant. It's clean burning. I don't know. So I just wish it did more. The edibles do it for me, but I need to get some more. That's what I need to do.
I was gonna say we just need to try different strains then and really figure out exactly which ones are going to work.
True. Because we grew up in a time where you just took a hit of whatever the guy next to you was. Like, we didn't, it wasn't like we went out and sought out, a specific strain. Now they've got, I mean, they can do with pot what brewers can do with beer now. I mean, it's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I'm good. I wanted to give a quick update. I've had more than one person this week checking up on my inner child. And I just want everybody to know that I did get an ointment for that. It's all cleared up.
Good.
Everything's good to go. My inner child is back to being innocent here. We're good.
Okay, you're gonna go that far with it?
Well, I mean, for now,
For now,
for now, till I drink this first beer. Dude, I'm swinging for the fences on this first one. I'm going heavy, but we'll get there. How was your week? How was your week?
Week was okay. No great, intense, crazy stuff going on. Just sitting back and getting through the week. That was the goal, and I think I achieved that. So,
yeah. Well, you're here. You made it.
I am here.
Yep.
Hey, I'm doing some research. Before we get into our beers.
Yeah.
I'm trying to justify craft lagers. So far I've had like 6 or 7 different craft brewers, and just drinking their lagers because it's summer, right?
Right.
And I can't justify having one of those over just a regular domestic.
Okay.
I can't do it. I still haven't found one that's like, oh my gosh, I have to go out and have more of these. It's like, all right, it's just a lager.
Right.
So I think the style sucks.
I was just gonna say I think that's more of a problem with the style and not necessarily the quality of the beer.
Oh yeah, totally.
Because I've had some $8 pints of lager before, because you're at a higher end pub or a higher end brewery, and I'm with you. It just tastes like a crisper, cleaner Bud Light. I mean, it's like, why am I drinking this then?
And I think, honestly, maybe I'll do this, not now. Maybe I'll do this in a later date. I'll do a taste test, and I'll blindfold myself and have a few different kinds of lagers, and then I'll see if I can tell which one's the cheapest. Like a Bud Light. I probably won't do a Bud Light, but like an MGD, maybe a High Life, a little banquet beer action, maybe.
Maybe a little PBR.
Maybe I'll go PBR with it, because you can get how much is a 6-pack of PBR?
Oh, I don't know, like 30 cents. I mean,
it's something
it's
like
pretty
that,
cheap.
right?
Yeah.
So why spend $4 on a craft lager? It just doesn't make
Right.
any sense to me. It's fiscally responsible, and God damn it, I want to make sure Bidenomics is fucking on point. So I'm going to make sure I'm being fiscally responsible.
All right, Market. How far did we make it into the show before Bidenomics got that word got spoken?
4 minutes and roughly 30 seconds. I was actually going to try and not swear tonight, and I fucked that up too. So
well, the over under was 5 minutes on that. So whoever had the under, I'm sure Hefe took the over He's had a bad run,
Probably
man.
did.
He's had a bad run.
Yeah,
Oh yes,
he's like
Bidenomics.
we're gonna get into that.
Yeah,
What a ridiculous sham that is. This is
yeah.
just a week of absolute. He's running for president. That's all this week was about.
Yep, yep.
We saw a lot of crazy shit coming from the Supreme Court. I mean, crazy shit from it's the actions that we were seeing, not necessarily the judgments.
Yeah, the decisions. Yeah.
But yeah, it was just one of those weeks. We'll get into all of it, but it was a busy one. We're gonna get into France too. That place is,
Good God.
yeah.
Good God.
There's
They've been in trouble. I think, when I sent you guys some of the earlier footage from, I think the rioting started on Wednesday night. But I was sending you guys some of that, and I'm like, apparently France is falling apart again. I wasn't aware that they were ever back in order. I mean, because they had all those riots, a couple months ago. So I thought it was just one continuous riot, but apparently things things calmed down for a bit, I guess, and then a 17-year-old kid was shot by the police, and here we are. So yeah, we'll get into that much further. Some of the footage coming out of France is, I mean, it takes a lot for my mouth to just fall open, and there's 3 or 4 videos
Mad Max
that
stuff.
It's Mad Max stuff. It's totally dystopian. Like, what? This is planet Earth right now, here today. Crazy.
Well, let's go and get into the beers first. What do you got over there?
All right. Well, in honor of France, actually, I went with a Revolution Brewing. They're out of Chicago. They're a fantastic brewery out of Chicago. They've been around for a long time. Some really great beers that McShane and I have had from Revolution. This is one of their limited series. This is the Deep Wood series, and this one is called Death's Tar. Instead of the Death Star, it's Death's Tar, and it's got a really fucking cool. The can art is just rad. It's really nice. Skeleton with like a I don't know,
fantastic.
Revolutionary flag behind it. Yeah, isn't that great? So anyway, I luckily, this is only a 12-ounce can because it is a 14.8%er Imperial Stout. So this thing is not fucking around. I do have to read the back of the can though. It's outstanding.
Yeah,
all right. Witness the firepower of this fully operational barrel-aged Imperial Oatmeal Stout, brewed with English specialty malts and the addition of flaked and malted oats to create a rich, chocolatey profile and silky mouthfeel that cloaks its considerable strength. The American oak barrels continue to build layers of complexity reminiscent of vanilla, toasted coconut, and caramel candy after aging this dark menace for a full 12 months. I just love that. Great use of language. The word menace needs to be used more, especially nowadays. Anyway.
We're going to need to work menace into the title of the show tonight.
Okay. I'm in.
Right. That's going to be our challenge.
So, first taste of Death's Tar. Here we go.
Like you're saying, it's a very cool can. And Revolution Brewing, I'm envious because I don't get them out here anymore.
Wow. Oh, if my, the what's that thing that hangs in the back of your throat? The uvula? Is that what that's called?
Yeah, I think it's the uvula. I tried to pull mine out one time.
Okay, table that because I want to hear that story. If my uvula was like some testicles like hanging in the back of my mouth, they just got kicked really hard by this skeleton. I just got kicked in the mouth nards. Oh, God, this thing is a load. Holy cow. Okay, gather myself here. Heavy, very boozy, very like this thing drinks like oil. It's like a can of oil. Zero head on it, poured like oil.
Okay.
Drinks like oil, and it burns the entire way down. Now, it's a good burn. It's a healthy burn. It's not unpleasant. And there is I'm a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of vanilla. I'm not picking up the coconut or the caramel yet, but it's got to open up a bit. It's still pretty cold. So we'll see as it opens up if I get some more of those flavors. But definitely the chocolate and vanilla, and just that booze. Whew, man, this thing is hot, very hot. Anyway, good
Nice.
beer. I mean, I it's another one of those breweries. I'm just not sure they make a bad beer. I honestly, they know their stuff, and this is following suit. So, anyway, good so far. What are you drinking?
So I'm starting off with a guilty pleasure. We'll
Mm,
just kind of say that.
mm-hmm.
Ever since I had my first CDA, Cascadian Dark
Yes.
Ale, I've had an absolute thing for black IPAs.
Yeah.
You don't come across them very often, kind of like my Baltic porters. So I'll admit I have kind of a eccentric or unique palate for these kind of things. But yeah, I wanted to go with this local black IPA. It's made by Desert Monk Brewing.
Mm.
And it's just a straight up black IPA brewed with pale and Munich malts and hopped with Simcoe, Amarillo, Citra, and Columbus. Um, on the can, let's see, their story is every Jekyll has their Hyde, and our IPAs are no different. The Dark Road Black IPA brings a heavy shot of darkness to our usually bright and hazy lineup. Light on roastiness with a West Coast hop flavor and aroma, but black like the pit of the vats where it was born. The Dark Robe takes no prisoners and asks no quarter. So there's also a little bit of a story here, and I'll make sure this gets out. Maybe I'll put it in the show notes. I'm going to send you a picture of this can. Now, the guy who does all of their artwork just works for beer. That's it. That's all he does.
Why can't I get that gig? Oh, I know, because I don't have any fucking talent.
Well, look at this
That's
can.
outstanding. Oh, that's beautiful.
So yeah,
and
got
scary.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's big nighttime spooky background. He's in the basically a graveyard. It's a robed skeleton, just an ominous figure. But yeah,
He's
dude
got
who
the
does
mala
this,
beads. Yeah.
mhm.
Super great.
They don't have on here who actually does the art, and I don't recall his name, so that sucks. But I'll figure we'll give him some props in when we drop the show and stuff. So
Yeah, for sure. That's rad. I mean, you know what? Way to find your what you're good at, and something you can be passionate about.
absolutely,
And then make a fucking living out of it. Good for you, dude.
exactly. So pours a good white head on it, very black, exactly what you'd think. Definitely smells like an IPA.
Well, you remember, I mean, I
Mm,
went through a real black IPA CDA phase
yeah,
when I moved up here because they're much more common up here. I mean, this is
yeah.
where they were born, is the Cascadian mountains up here. So I love. I'm with you. If I'm gonna have an IPA and I can find one that's a black IPA, I'm gonna go with that
Right.
12 days a week. I mean, it's just super good.
Yeah. I mean, you get the malt in there and it mellows it out a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
And this one, it definitely tastes like a West Coast. So it has the citrus, it has the floral, aroma to it. It's a mouth-watering beer, but there is no aftertaste.
Mm.
Super
Well,
drinkable, 6.5%. It's exactly the way I like my IPAs if they're not going to be a hazy. But this is yeah, this is fun.
outstanding. I love it. Okay, so I will
Um,
say I just
yep.
had another sip of my beer here,
Okay.
and and I kind of let it just sort of play around in my mouth a little bit before I swallowed it,
Sure.
and now I'm getting the caramel notes at the back end of it.
Okay.
Really, really nice. Very just that kind of burnt sugar, which I guess is what caramel is, but just that really nice, not overly sweet, but just gives you a little bit of creaminess, smoothness to it on the back end. Really nice. God, this
Does
beer
it
is good.
does it take down the heat a little bit from the
It
alcohol?
does. It does. And maybe that's just because the first couple swallows have hit bottom, and so now I'm basically numb. Like I could go to the dentist right now. I wouldn't feel a fucking thing. Jesus.
0 to 60. There's no reason why we should just ease into things.
Yeah, no. Nope.
Well, that's exactly where we're gonna start off with. Um, we'll take a quick break here, and then we'll dive into a little bit of housekeeping and whatever else we got going on. We should have a Hefe sighting soon, shouldn't we?
I'm hoping. Yeah. Yep. It could be in 9 minutes or in 29 minutes. We'll see.
All right. Well, we'll see you in a few. All right. So last week, and this is going to be real quick, just because it kind of irks me that I didn't catch this. I had it right the first time, totally fucked it up when we were cutting the show, and then the very next day I find the information that I should have had. So I apologize. Yeah. Lindsey Graham and Richard Blumenthal from last week, I misspoke when saying that they were just talking about nukes. No, they were actually presenting an actual resolution that was to respond to Russian Federation delivering tactical nuclear weapons to the Republic of Belarus. So not that this is a big deal. It's Lindsey Graham. The guy's a fucking puppet, but I had it wrong, so I had to get that out.
Well, and I'm glad. I mean, we're always we want to get it right here on the show. We want to get it right. We're very clear about when we have opinion, but when we hit a story like this, we want to make sure that listeners out there get it the right way. And yes, Graham is a tool, and we know that. I do still, again, the timing on this is odd. It's just odd. I'm still, and again, this is opinion. This is Fitz going out on a limb. I'm still calling for a false flag of some sort, something having to do with either a suspected, quote unquote, suspected Russian nuke, or a nuclear power plant being demolished. Either collateral, damage, or scorched earth kind of military strategy where, oh, Russia lost it, so they're going to blow it up, kind of a thing. I'm still calling for that. I not that I want it to happen. I just think it's going to.
Yeah, you just think it's going to end up popping up. I think the Graham thing came out preemptively before the supposed Russian coup happened. We talked about that the last show. Mm-hmm. I am off of that train, and I am actually pivoting to the war is going to be ending soon because Greta Thunberg stopped by Zelensky's place to chill out. She took a train. Don't worry, she wore a mask on the train, so she was very, very safe. But yeah, I think we're going to move into Ukraine being the hotbed for climate change now.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but what a great platform for her to stand on if she was standing on the rubble of a, in a full-on hazmat suit, standing on the rubble of a nuclear power plant that got destroyed.
This is your protest. This is my Friday protest. All right.
Yep. Yeah. Did you see? I think I'm going to have to check myself here. There was a prominent paper. I want to say it was the Atlantic, but I'm not positive. But they said Greta Thunberg is the latest world leader to visit Zelensky. I'm sorry, what? When did she become a world leader?
Oh yeah, she's so the world. Wait till she's put in charge of something. God. It might be gas chambers or something, but she'll will be at some point.
Oh God. Hey, speaking of being in charge of something, I actually, just one of my housekeeping things really quick. I want to give a quick shout out to hopefully a new friend of the show, but if not, we're definitely friends of his. But Dr. Peter St. Ange, which we've talked about him a couple of times here on the show, just really very concise, detailed videos about, and in very clear language about the economy and sort of the challenges that we have coming up here in the next probably 6 to 18 months. Just anyway, I reached out, I commented on one of his videos, just saying, more great content. Thank you. And then I asked him a question, and to his credit, man, he DM'd me back, and we had a conversation going for a little bit just about how deep of shit we really are in. But anyway, I shout out to everything that Peter St. Onge is doing. He's got his own podcast, so if you're interested in the economy and economic issues, check that out. He also makes videos on Twitter, and then they go up on TikTok, and I believe he has a YouTube channel as well. So I just want to give a shout out to him, and just what a cool guy for, getting back to me and reaching out. So I'm trying to turn him on to a little whiskey hell. I don't know if we're his flavor or not, but either way, check him out. Great follow on Twitter. Always has good. Like I said, just very concise, very clear language. Yeah, great follow.
So you guys can check him out on Twitter. It's at Prof Stonge, Stonge, Saint Onge. Or you can go to his website, profstonge.com. He's an economist. Interesting dude. Very, very interesting. Great content. And it's surprising that he doesn't have more followers. I mean, maybe it's not because I think he spits a lot of truth, and maybe a lot of people don't like that.
Yep. Well, and he's on the fringe, and I don't mean fringe as in, Bobby Kennedy saying that all vaccines are bad, but he did have a really great interview with Ray Dalio, and Ray Dalio is another sort of, borderline savant genius in economics, but he's on the fringe because he calls for it, and he did predict the 2008 crash way before it happened. He predicted what would happen with the economy once the COVID ridiculousness happened. So Ray Dalio is also out there, and so they're kind of these they're like a think tank out there, really looking at what all of the data is showing us, and then sort of interpreting it to the rest of us who can't, we can't comprehend all of that data really, or even understand what all of it means. And they break it down. But just the fact that he's sort of, aligned with Ray Dalio, I think is going to turn some people off. It's going to turn some people on too, if you're the right kind of person. But just great stuff. I like both those guys. I follow Ray on Twitter as well. Good economic stuff.
I think Dalio's, I know he's the founder of Bridgewater Associates. I think it's a hedge fund. So
yes, yep, they're a hedge fund, and he wrote the book
Principles
Dealing
Journal.
with the Changing World. Yes, yeah, that's what it is. Principles for Dealing with the Changing World. Yeah.
Yep.
And which I have not read. I'm not going to pretend I read that book. It's in my pile though. I think it's like the fourth or fifth book down. I've been getting back into reading, dude. For a long time there, I just couldn't concentrate on it. And the last probably 3-4 months, I'm starting to burn through books like I used to in my 20s, like a book a week. Just, yeah, it feels really good. So hopefully I'll get to Ray Dalio's book. I do have it.
I am envious. The best I can do is new audiobooks and things because I'm always moving. I'm always doing stuff. The only time that I'm not is usually when I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, well, that's when I read. I get into bed and I read for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and that kind of settles my brain, and then I pass out. But I can't just on a Saturday afternoon pick up a book. That's not how it works. Yeah,
I tried starting Brave New World. And it's interesting. I haven't gotten. It's going to be one of those that I have to actually concentrate on. So it's probably going to be a better read than it is than listening to it.
Yeah, that's almost. I don't want to say textbook, but it's one where you want to have like a pen and a highlighter next to you.
Highlighter. That's what I was going to say. It seems like one that I got to highlight stuff on.
Yep. It's and stuff you want to go back to. Yes, for sure.
So anyway.
Yep.
We should. You know what? Anybody out there who's reading some good books, let us know. Hook us up. I've got a big trip coming, and I'm going to try and get through a few different books. So we'll see if anybody has anything out there to share with us.
Hey,
F.A., how you doing, man?
how are you? I'm doing.
You're doing?
How are you guys doing?
Good. Kind of just getting through housekeeping, and we've just kind of shooting the breeze. Haven't gotten anything of too much substance yet. You have a 4th of July celebration going on out there. Is that?
Yep. We
And
do.
how's that going?
Well, it's a little limp at the launch right now. But
Limp
Really?
at the
you know,
launch.
yeah, that's a saying, right?
Sure.
It is now.
It is now.
launch.
Yeah, hell yeah.
No, we got 9 tables open in our second pit, and we have 0 players in that pit.
Oh no.
Oh,
So I've dealt on 6 tables so far, and I've actually dealt on 1 table.
Ugh.
But the silver lining is, you ever put like ESPN on, and you're like, why the fuck is this on ESPN? I did that
Yes.
tonight, but the more I watched, the more I couldn't stop watching. It's professional cornhole.
it's
Oh.
fantastic.
I
Yeah.
can't stop watching it.
Yeah. There's actually strategy to that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Big time strategy.
I have cornhole
Great.
boards here.
Yeah. Yeah.
really.
Yeah, I totally do. Absolutely. I throw a little bit. I don't throw probably often enough, I guess. But yeah, I enjoy it. It's fun. I get better after I've been drinking too. So as one
Yeah,
does.
that's definitely one. So two games that I get better at as I've been drinking. Now, of course, there's a point of no return where you just are bad at everything because
Right.
you're just sloppy, whatever. But as I get a little bit more tipsy, I get better at shuffleboard and cornhole.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was
Do you think it's
at a bar once playing, and with a girl, and like halfway through the game, or maybe somebody won the game. For some reason, we were done, and we were walking like diagonally away from the cornhole arena, I'm going to say,
Uh-huh.
and I did a behind back, and it fucking swished. And nobody saw it.
oh,
It was awesome.
that's claim to fame right there.
Yeah, I wish I had
Yeah.
seen it, dude. I wish I was there to see it.
It was special.
So your entertainment tonight has not been making hand over fist. Does it, like, the more people that are in the casino, like say for an event like this, or maybe you guys have like a concert, it's some, Kiss impersonator or something. So you have a bunch of people in the casino, but those are the people that don't really play much or tip well, right?
For the most part, there's exceptions, but different holidays bring out different people. It's strange. And the 4th of July is like notoriously bad for tipping. I don't know why, but people just show up and play and get shit faced, and then at 8:55 they run outside and watch the fireworks, and then come back inside and the bullshittery ensues, and there's more drinking and more not. Just a fucking shit show. I don't know why it's 4th of July like that. It is. So I'm not expecting much. The one table I dealt to, I made like $52. So that's,
Well, that's not bad.
It's a good start.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever been big about the 4th of July?
I mean, I guess so. I guess growing up, that's just kind of what you did, right? I mean, you went and made it a big deal to go out and see fireworks. I mean, we used to go to the old RNG ranch over there next to Arcadia.
Yeah, that's where that's where we used to go too, because my dad worked for the Gazette.
Right. And my girlfriend at the time, her dad worked for the Gazette, so yeah, so I mean, we used to do that, and they had a great show. I think probably the most fantastic 4th of July I ever did is I was with a young lady and her friend. Hefe, I don't remember if you were there or not, but we went up on South Mountain. Were you there?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, we went up on South Mountain at about 8:15, 8:30, right before the sun's, going down over the horizon, and sat up there and just talked, sat on the back of a tailgate of a truck and watched all of the fireworks shows all around the valley, because you got a pretty good view of everything from South Mountain. And it was just, I don't know, it was just a special night. Plus, I made out with her and had all the devil's juices flowing through my body.
Other kinds of fireworks.
Yeah, right, exactly. So anyway, I that's one that really kind of stuck with me. But as I've gotten older, honestly, I hate the 4th of July. Number one, I've got enough people in my life that have some PTSD from Iraq and Afghanistan, and it fucks them up. This entire weekend fucks them up. One of my buddies has to pack up his dog and get out of town, go out into the forest and just be, because he can't be in town because of the fireworks. And then on top of it, I also have a very nervous Nelly dog. And so every pop, every explosion, he's barking, he's freaking out. He wants to be close to us. So it's just, the whole night turns into a kind of a catastrophe. It's I mean, not even the night, like, because the 5th is falling on what, a Tuesday. I mean, it's going to be from tonight. Actually, they started last night. People were blowing shit up.
Yeah.
And it's going to go all the way through Tuesday night.
Well, Tuesday night's the 4th. So it's going to go through Wednesday almost.
Probably. Yeah. So I don't really look forward to it now. Plus, this country, I get it. I get patriotism, but we're not in a good way right now. And we don't really have a very clean track record like I used to think we did. So there's not much to celebrate right now. So anyway, that's my 2 cents.
What about you, Hefe?
I've always loved fireworks, even as a kid, as an adult. But now it's just another. I don't know. I took my kids a few years ago downtown to a fireworks show, and it's just hot here. It's just
yeah.
Even at 9 o'clock at night, it's just warm and.
It's warm. It's hot. It's muggy. It's you're sitting for hours. It's frustrating unless you're gonna go sit in a car or something, wait for the fireworks to go off, and then you're gonna go in or go back home.
Yeah,
that kind of loses the whole mystique of it, right? I mean, that kind of sucks.
Totally, McShane. I know you'll remember this. It was at your old house, the one previous to this one. And there was a monsoon storm rolling in, and my partner and I at the time, girlfriend, whatever, we came over for 4th of July to have. I think you were barbecuing. We brought over some beers, but there was fireworks going off because you butted up to that golf course, so we had kind of an open view to some fireworks. But then the storm came in and was like, yeah, you think that's cool? And the lightning show. Oh my God, it was tremendous.
Yeah,
that one was cool too. Yeah.
If anybody who's not been in Arizona during the monsoons, you're missing out. Well, I'm not going to say it's always like that because we've had some years that have been real duds, at least out near where I am. But you get some pretty good shows, and when nature wants to dance, it's pretty sweet here.
Yep. I do miss it. I think I have a piece of paper around here somewhere. I actually started marking how many times I heard thunder since we've moved here to Oregon. And I've been here 8.5 years. Can you believe that? 8.5 years. And I believe my tally is up to 7.
Really?
7 cracks of thunder. That's all we've heard. I mean,
That's weird.
We just, there's so many trees and it's so humid that just the lightning doesn't like the conditions around here. It would rather just rain. So we get plenty of rain, but just no thunder, 0 thunder. Which is good because we have a lot of dry forest around right now. So
that's true.
What about you, McShane? What's the 4th for you?
I'm jaded, and I used to think that, wow, the country's birthday. I was a Boy Scout or Cub Scout, and we always did stuff like that. We'd always be participating in something. And it's just over the years, it just became a whole bunch of work. My kids really aren't that impressed by fireworks. I never went out and bought them. You can buy them on every fucking corner now. So it's kind of lost. I think that especially has kind of lost the mystique. Our neighbors are going to go ahead and they're going to blow off as many fireworks as they possibly can, which is fine. Do your own thing. It's cool. But
Sure.
it just doesn't do anything for me anymore. I'm not going out and partying. I'm not going to, let's do a whole big barbecue. I'd rather just get through the night, have my dogs not be freaking out over it, and go to bed by 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with I think with 4th of July, I think it's important that if you are going to be barbecuing, that you have some cola infused ketchup.
What?
Yeah, you didn't see this story? Pepsi is
I
putting
saw
out,
it. I saw it. I just forgot about it. And now you reminded me. Thank you.
We know Pepsi is not shy when it comes to mashing up taste. Remember the Pepsi infused pepperoni or Peeps flavored Pepsi? No, I didn't hear any of those, and I'm glad I didn't.
I heard about the Peeps flavored Pepsi. I did not hear about
What
Pepsi infused pepperoni. Why would you? What, Pepsaroni? Why would you do that?
Yeah, it would have to be Pepsi. Pepperoni.
Pepperoni?
Pepperoni
Well, they're calling
sounds
this
really
shit-
pretty good.
They're calling this shit Cola Chup.
Oh God.
Instead of ketchup,
You know,
it's
it's like-
Pepsi Cola Chup.
It's like Pepsi saw Bud Light shit the bed, and they said, "Hold my beer."
Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly. 4 major league ballparks on July 4th is going to have this stuff. I'm looking to see which ballparks it was going to be.
Ooh,
Oh, wait,
I-
the
I'm-
concept
exactly.
is okay. Jesus, seriously. The concept is both simple and creative, said David Kamen, director of client experience for CIA Consulting. That's got to be just a thing, right? It's not like, hold on, CIA Consulting. Oh yeah, okay, Culinary Institute of America. That's who it is.
I mean, I'm with Hefe. I'm less concerned because I guess, people are going to come up with wild shit. I mean, there's crazy stuff being invented every day. I want to know who are the fucking I'm not even going to characterize them because I don't even know what kind of person would be the person that walks up and said, "I will no ketchup for me. I'll have the Cola Chup, please." Who
Oh, it's so bad.
who is this person?
Well,
Chase Field.
Chase Field, Yankee Stadium, Target Field, Minneapolis, and Comerica Park in Detroit. So you're welcome, everybody. Go out there and I'm not going to Chase Field for this. I don't want to have anything to do with it. Isn't that really just barbecue sauce at that point?
I don't know. I no, because barbecue sauce, that's an art. I mean, if they're going to call it a barbecue sauce, they're going to offend a lot of people. I mean, you go to Texas, you go to Kansas City, Midwest, any of these areas. I mean, barbecue is a religion, and you don't fuck with barbecue sauce. You don't. And so if that's what they're kind of going for here, I mean, Pepsi's, yeah, you're right, Hefe. They're going to go the way of Bud Light. They're going to be dead in a year.
I thought that was interesting. So
It's totally interesting.
what was it, Hefe?
Like, do they really? It's a dumb idea. Like, do they really think that this is going to take off? This is going to be the next big thing? Like, fuck, no, it's not.
No. And
Well-
if it is, then this country needs to die. I mean, we need to be over as a culture if this becomes popular.
Well, I'm sure it was just a gimmick, but if we see this in the store, I don't know what to do with that.
It's
Are you guys?
it's nuts.
Do you guys like ketchup?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm a ketchup guy. I'm a ketchup guy on hot dogs. I don't like ketchup on my hamburgers.
Okay.
Um,
I'm
I
okay
like-
with them on.
I like them on. Yeah, but not on hot dogs.
Okay. I'm
All right.
okay with ketchup. Like, I don't go out of my way for it. I'm a mustard guy, though. I'm a big fan of mustard. All kinds of mustard, especially Golden's. Big fan
Oh,
of
yeah.
Golden's golden brown mustard. Big fan.
Yeah. Yeah, I prefer the deli mustard, brown mustard. But I will say a good, what do you call it? A serving, I guess. You wouldn't call it a box of French fries, but like a serving of French fries. I need ketchup with my fries. I like ketchup with fries.
I like ranch.
Okay, so you want to hear something just bizarre, and I mean I've come close to smothering my wife with a pillow because of this, but she will order fish and chips, and she'll use the tartar sauce with her fries and put ketchup on her fish. I swear to God, I've had the pillow in my hands, and she's dead asleep. She would no one would know.
You've made this relationship work. That's amazing. What's your secret,
dude? Right? She's a monster. She's a monster. Anyway,
did you bring her attention?
I don't.
But she's doing it wrong.
Yes. We've had the discussion every time she orders fish and chips. We've had the discussion every time. I mean, I will stare at her.
It's not like code for like help me, right? So she's not trying to signal somebody.
I don't know. I mean, if that's what it is, she's doing it wrong because nobody's come to help her. You would not. That's like no one's going to come and help you if you have that kind of blasphemy. No.
Wow. I'm going to look at her differently from now on.
Yeah. Join the club. Oh, shit.
I got to go back to work.
All right, brother. Have a fantastic night. Make $500 and we'll see you in a little bit.
All right.
Later. Oh shit, dude. We have covered one story on our doc so far.
No, that's okay. That's what happens when Hefe comes in. We
go
where we need to.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. In fact, it's a compliment because this is what we do. I fucking love it. It's awesome.
Totally is. All right, so let's go ahead and get into some of this stuff. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink ashamed of the term ESG.
Yep.
We don't have to spend a lot on it, but to have this come out during Pride Month.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I just laughed.
It's fantastic. It because of what happened with Bud Light and Target. I mean, those were the two big ones. There's been other companies too, but because of what happened, now Larry Fink, of all fucking people, BlackRock CEO, has to start backtracking on the ESG label and saying, okay, look, hey, we intended this to be a positive, good thing for society, and now everybody's throwing it back in our face. No, you're a fucking moron. You tried to manipulate all of us, and we're not having it.
It's so funny. It really is. And it's the whole month was weaponized. We're in July, and looking back on it, holy shit, what a shit show. We really need to get past the parades, guys. Can we stop with the naked parades, please? There was another one today, and I think in Wisconsin.
Dude, I mean, there was
holster your junk.
Exactly. There was the Babylon Bee came out with this thing, but very poignant point, which was the headline, and it's the Babylon Bee, so it's satire. This isn't really what happened, but the headline was pedophile is kicking himself for showing his penis to a bunch of children at a playground and not doing at a gay pride parade. And
yes,
and
he's sitting
bizarre,
in a jail cell.
And he's sitting in a jail cell, right? And you think, okay, right, it's the same thing. It's just in one instance it's allowed, and in the other we want to fucking hang the guy and cut his junk off. And I just, man, it's disgusting. I'm sorry, it's disgusting. I'm not saying we should all be ashamed of our bodies. That's not what I'm saying. If you want to live in a nudist colony, if you want to walk around nude in your backyard, I'm all for it.
But it's indecent exposure.
But yes,
this is indecent exposure.
We live in a society where we all have to get along, and I don't want my kids looking at your dick. I'm sorry. I don't want anyone's kids looking at anyone's dicks. Kids should be innocent and playing until they're not, and that's up to them, not up to us.
And oh god, there's so much to unpack there, but we're not going there. I'm sorry I brought it up.
No, yeah,
but Larry Fink,
yeah,
he said I never said I was ashamed. He said incorrectly, I'm not ashamed. I do believe in conscientious capitalism. I'm not going to use the word ESG because it's been misused by the far left and the far right. It's not being misused. You're giving credit to companies that do more ESG related business. If you're going to reward them, you're breeding it. That's
Exactly.
the capital part of your brand of capitalism that's wrong.
Yep. If you're going to give lower rate loans to companies who push this stuff, then it's not being misused. That's what you're doing by your own methods. That's what you're doing.
Anyway, we don't have to, like I said, we don't have to spend any time on it, but I thought that was so funny.
No, it was
So
a great
funny.
story, and I'm glad we hit it early while we're both still somewhat sober. Also, be looking now, folks. Watch for this. It won't be ESG anymore. They will change the initials.
Yep.
They'll rebrand it and stick a new sticker on it, but it'll be the same shit underneath.
Correct.
Watch for it.
Absolutely. We had a story a few months, probably about a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, that was all about how JP Morgan was going to say that, hey, we should start just going ahead and taking over land that's not being used properly. Basically, eminent domain on land.
Right.
Well, now we have a story that's coming out of the Netherlands where the Dutch, who have been fighting the farmers, which is one of the most important bread bowls there is in the world.
Yep.
Not only are they going to seize farms, but now they're going to start making sure that private homes are going to be regulated so that they are only going to be available within a certain price range. So if I have a house that costs $750,000, I am going to have to sell it for a median income individual or low income individual so that they can afford it. I'm not going to be able to go ahead and take my investment.
And that will be by law. I mean, you won't have any way around it. It's not like you can just, I mean, if you want to sell your house, it's going to have to be under this law.
And we called that about 6 weeks ago.
We did, because we said it starts with the land. It starts with farmland. Then it starts with other unused land. And then it always moves to the private homeowner. Because this is the only thing, this house that I'm sitting in right now, the house that you're sitting in, the house that any of you own, that is the one American guarantee we have to some sort of wealth to either use in our later years or to pass on to our children. Well, the Dutch government's coming in, to quote Hefe, and saying, hold my beer. And they're basically demolishing all of that. You don't have any saved up wealth now in your home, in your land, because it's being seized by the government, and or they're forcing you to sell it below market value.
How does somebody who's limited income, okay, and they're maybe they aren't going to make any more. How does somebody who's limited income, and you give them this house that's now it's only worth, we'll say it's only worth $400,000, but they're still going to have to pay on that note.
Yep.
That doesn't mean they're going to be able to pay on it. If your wages aren't at that level, that doesn't mean they're going to be able to pay that note. So somebody is going to end up owning that house at some point when they go bankrupt.
Follow that through. Who ends up owning it?
Bank, BlackRock, and Vanguard.
You bet. The banks. That's what happened in 2008. They were giving out home loans to people that had no business taking them out. People got underwater, couldn't make the payments, so the bank just seized the house back, and now they own the house at no skin off their teeth. Even if they sold the house for $100,000 and it was worth $500,000, they still made bank on it because they got it basically for free.
For pennies, yep.
And I mean, it's a brilliant scheme if you're the one with the money loaning it out. It really fucking sucks if you're all of us.
So
unbelievable. And then they're just making laws like this. I mean, it's not even being done under the table, dude.
No, none of this stuff is being done. Everything is, I mean, okay, we're a little bit more observant than the average individual, I think, right? I mean, you look at our doc, we've got.
Yeah, that's why we do the show.
It's why we do. We call us sick, whatever you want. But this stuff isn't being hidden. It's not even good theater. Like, how stupid do they think people are, and maybe we are in a, well, okay, so actually, honestly, come to think of it, a lot of people are completely wrapped up in trying to live their lives and just trying to make it day by day, so they don't see a lot of this stuff. They don't take time to read because they don't have the time. They're working 2 or 3 jobs, so this stuff just kind of slips in there.
No, I mean, you're right. You are correct. I've got a neighbor. She's, my God, she's beyond intelligent. I mean, she basically runs one of the psychiatric hospitals here in Oregon. So she's a very high up. She's got a doctorate. She's got, like, I don't know, 15 master's degrees and like 3 doctorates. She's just very intelligent woman. But she is very bought into whatever the news tells her. She's passionate about climate change. She had a BLM sign out in her front yard. Actually, it's still there, even though we know BLM is a completely corrupt and ridiculous organization. And she's sweet, and I love her to death. And we've been taking care of her cat. She was camping all week, so we've been taking care of her cat, and so we're great neighbors. But I can't go here with her. I've told her about the show. I've told her that this is a podcast that we do, and check it out. It's not even that she doesn't have the time. She doesn't have the bandwidth to accept what the truth is. I mean, really, it's much easier to just say, okay, I'm going to do what they tell me because I'm too busy telling other people what to do all day. I don't want to make those decisions when I come home. And I get that, and I respect her as a human. I have nothing against her at all. However, that is part of the problem. I mean, that's why people believe what they see straight off the bat. They don't ask the questions, and then boom, we've got half the population saying, well, I took the lesser of 2 evils. Great. Now we have Joe Biden. Or previously, great. Now we have Trump. You can't just settle for the lesser of 2 evils anymore. We can't afford it anymore. Anyway, so to your point, you're right. People are busy. People have lives. Apparently you and I don't. Actually it's not that we don't have lives. I'm particularly interested in this stuff, and I am
right.
You made a video, I think it was yesterday, but just what a time to be alive. And I think if we can keep that perspective, if we can keep telling ourselves that, yes, we don't agree with everything that's happening, and there's some really naughty shit, but we're witness to all of it, and we get to call it out. We get this platform. We get to take the time every week and have this platform and speak our piece and process it. And I'm so honored for it. I'm honored to do it. I'm even more honored that people want to hear us do it. That's incredible. But it is a hell of a time to be alive. And the more of us that are awake and paying attention, the more we can actually maybe change things for the better. I mean, that's my hope. I don't know. Maybe I'm naive.
It's about processing. It's about asking questions. It's about it's about pushing back where you can.
Yeah.
And I think we do a pretty good job of that. I thank our listeners, because a lot of this happens because you guys are fucking rad.
Yep. Agreed.
But I hope everybody could just take 5 minutes and just kind of try and process something, or just question something. So many times that we're just going to go, we're just going to shake our heads and nod along. Okay, well, this is fine. Yay. We're going to go ahead and go with it. We've got 8 Biden stories, and honestly, they really are Biden jokes, because that's what we've got here.
Yeah.
And any one of these, when you look at it, you can look at it and go, really? That's our president doing that?
I know.
But so many people don't.
You're you're so right. Any one of these. Could you imagine John F. Kennedy showing up with fucking ball gag straps on his face?
Okay, please explain to me what the hell happened here.
I'm sorry, I had to go to this one first. Let's start with the most absurd, and then we can.
Okay, I don't suffer from sleep apnea. I think I'm one of the few big guys that don't, apparently.
Yeah.
And I've seen them. I've seen the masks. I've seen how you wear the masks. I don't see how he was allowed out in public with. It looks like he just took a ball gag off.
Yep, it really does. And I'm all right.
Ball gag Biden. That should be his new nickname.
So two things. Ball gag Biden. Okay. So two things. Number one, in this day and age, and we're talking about the president of the United States of America. So when I'm talking about these things, we have to assume that he has access to the best, highest quality CPAP machines, masks out there, right? And first of all, he's not even a big guy. So most big guys are the ones that have the CPAP, but okay, I'm willing to give you that he needs it. Okay. So these high quality masks, I'm on a website right now on my phone. They're made with this really nice, soft neoprene thing that wraps around your head and would not leave the marks that they're asking us to believe that this CPAP machine left. Look at that.
No,
they're soft. They're pliable. They're not gonna. I mean, most of them don't even go where his was going.
No,
across
when you look at it
by the jaw.
No, exactly. It was going across his ear, around his mouth, and you can look at it here. It looks like a ball gag. And there's no strap going up over his ear or over his head.
Nope. There's not a second strap. That was my next point. Is that there's nothing else to lead us to believe. It's not even like he has the imprint of the mask around his face.
No,
there's only strap lines going to his mouth. Only. Everything else, it's just normal skin.
Yeah. So
I
don't just because you sleep well with a ball gag in your mouth, don't blame it on a CPAP machine. Own it. Do you know how many votes he would get for owning that specific kink?
Dude, it's Pride Month.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, so many people would be like, "You go, Biden." I don't know. That was such a bizarre story. And first of all, people are looking at him so, I mean, not just a microscope. He's past that point now. We're looking for him to fuck up somehow. And so you show up like this, people are going to tear it apart.
We've crossed over into, we're just making fun of an old man, and it's sad at this point.
It is sad.
I mean, I never want to go out like that. I mean, that fucking sucks. All right, here, let's
But he did ask for it. I mean, I know we're making fun of an old man, but this is an old man that asked to be president and has wanted to be president since, well, whenever he got in the Senate back in the 70s. I mean, a long time ago.
Yeah. No, he absolutely does. He's totally asking for it. But I don't even think he's coherent now. I'm not sure he even knows where he is.
Man, I'm hearing more and more whispers out there that, I mean, clearly he's not going to make it. I mean, even if we could make believe that he gets elected again, he's not going to make it through a second term. I mean, he's so far gone. I'm hearing so many whispers out there about Gavin Newsom, and it just terrifies me. And it should terrify all of you. Oh, yeah. Look, California is a absolute train wreck. It's a dumpster fire of a state. 40% of Californians recently polled, 40% want to leave the state. Not just they don't like what's going on. They want to leave the state. 40%. That's a California community poll is who took this. It's an actual survey. You can go on it. It'll be on our show notes. 40% want to leave. That's insanity. We've got a buddy, Barcelona Red. He's in California.
Oh yeah.
And so when you put this tweet out, he said, "Oh, it's not even just that the economy's bad." He said, "We're not even talking about the schools, the crime rates." You know, he listed off 2 or 3 things that weren't even mentioned in this article that are bad. And so that scares the shit out of me that Gavin Newsom is who they're thinking is going to be the new Democratic candidate.
And he's
I don't know,
sucking
man.
up to Biden and the rest of the Democratic Party.
Oh my
He
God!
He swore last year that he was not going to run. He came out and said, "I'm not going to run," but now there's been an about face. And when you look at Kamala, she's got like a 32% approval rating.
Oh, no. Half that. She's got a 17%.
Is it worse than that now?
Oh, it's 17%.
That's fantastic.
I mean, even Democrats are like, okay, she can't actually speak coherently. We need somebody new.
Unreal. Well, it
is unreal.
That survey that you found, yeah, it's 4 in 10 Californians are considering packing up and leaving, new poll finds. That's from the Los Angeles Times on June 23rd. Oof. What we'll have in the show notes is the actual polling page from strategies360.com.
Yeah.
Since early 2020, we've conducted 6 statewide polls on a range of topics, including perceptions of race, relations and identity, education and pandemic, policing, and more. Each survey includes oversamples of communities of color, yielding large and representative samples among African American, Latino, and Asian adults. S360 proudly shares the results of these polls. So you get the 4 in 10 Californians considering leaving. Californians face deep economic anxieties. Despite the financial strain, most residents are happy living in California, and the state's diversity is a central reason why, which that's cool.
Fair enough.
The inequities and challenges facing women and communities of color have not gone away. So he hasn't made any kind of any headways there.
Well, no, other than, I mean, and that was the 2020 survey that you were just looking at. The 2022 and the 2023, that's all changed. People are now like, okay, nothing's changing here. This is fucking sucking. But all he's done, I mean, really the only radical thing that I've seen Newsom put forward is the reparations to African Americans, which, I'm sorry, I have to be in the camp, and I've seen a few videos of men. I haven't heard from the black women yet, but black men who are making videos and saying just the concept of reparations is fucking offensive.
Yeah,
you're telling me that I need your money. I need extra money because of something that was never done to me by you, but you're going to give me your money. That's offensive to me. I'll go out and make my own money. Thank you very much. Fuck off. And
how
that's
racist
that's exactly,
is the Democratic Party?
They're the most racist party. I know people, that sounds counterintuitive to people, but the Democrats are, I sent you guys that video of, these voter laws and how this dude went around and asked, why do you think these voter laws need to be in there? And they said, oh, well, these people don't have access to the internet. They don't have IDs. They don't know how to vote. They don't even have access to get to their local DMV. So then the same guy went out and started asking black residents of the same, I think it was in New York City. He's like, hey, do you know where the DMV is? The dude was like, yeah, it's down there on 125th and 4th. I'll take you there right now. And do you have an ID? Yes, I have an ID. Do you know how to vote? I've voted every day or every election since I was 18. I mean, and so then he asked them straight up, do you think it's racist that these people think you don't have the same knowledge or the same access? And they're like, it's incredibly racist. Why? I am just like you. I go out, I work hard. I have a computer at home. Thank you very much. I have a cell phone. I have access to the public libraries if I don't have one at home. And even I loved the one kid on that video. He's probably 19. And he's like, it's fucking stupid. You think me and my friends, he said, I'm from a very poor family, from a very poor part of town, as are all my friends. And every single one of us voted in this last election. And I just thought, good for you, dude. Good for you. I mean, he's struggling. He's trying to make it. And he still took time out to go and vote. And so these voter laws all coming from the Democrats, they're incredibly racist. Everything that is coming out of California, reparations, all of that is incredibly racist. I don't know. And we still have the Supreme Court stuff to get to, which dances with race also. I think.
Oh, it so does.
Yeah.
And if anything does, all of the stuff that came out this week from the Supreme Court points to a left that is incredibly racist and thinks that they can go ahead and they're going to win by creating drama. We'll just pause. It was an amazing week. How was that first beer?
Well, shit. I'm, obviously I'm very willing to share my opinions right now. So, the alcohol content
it was
really
good.
No, it was good. This is a beer that you kind of save for an occasion when, you want to save it for a night when you want to do some really dirty stuff with your partner that you're generally too shy to ask for. Have one of these and you will not be shy to ask for anything. The ABV makes you numb. On top of it, the fact that it's an imperial stout of this caliber, I don't know, it just makes you want to go out and just fight or fuck. You know what I mean? Like it just gets my man juices flowing. So, well, I don't know,
Sublime said it best, fucking and fighting, it's all the same.
Yeah, it is. It is. By the way, any of you who haven't read the seminal work of, oh shit, I'm going to forget his name now. But the title of the book is Sex is Violence. Check that out because that'll blow your fucking mind. Anyway, this beer takes away all your inhibitions, I think is what I'm trying to say. And so but it's not for every night because, some nights inhibitions are good. You're not going to drive after this. You're not going to operate any heavy machinery. But although I'm eyeing I have some swords on the wall back behind me. I'm eyeing those for some reason. I don't know why.
Samurai
really well done.
Samurai sword night in the backyard, right?
Maybe. Anyway, fantastic beer. I didn't get, and I again, McShane and I pride ourselves on trying to pick up everything that the brewers are putting down. We try and pick it up. I did not get any of the coconut. I got a little bit of caramel, like I mentioned. The chocolate vanilla were dominant. The booze was dominant. Solid stout though. Definitely would have it again. It's got to be in the right frame of reference. You don't want to have like a dinner party and people are coming over and you're supposed to be polite and then you have this beer. It's not a polite beer.
It's an angry beer.
There will be a fight at the end of this night. And it might just be with me in my heavy bag, but either way, that's just the kind of beer it is. So really well done. Definitely a top runner for going to bed with me tonight because it's going to fight me the whole way. So we'll see. We'll see what my second beer brings. But what about you? How was that first one for you?
I enjoyed it. This is a beer I'd keep in the house.
Yeah,
this would be an IPA to keep around because it's just you got that malty. It's not like a rich beer. It has the floral IPA, but it's mouth watering. It's just a really, really great beer to just keep around. So it's not an event beer, right? I'm not going to go out and say, "Oh my gosh, I just need this one tonight." That's not what I would do it. But given the opportunity, I would keep 4 or 5 in the back of the fridge to pop whenever I felt like that IPA and not a real heavy one.
Yeah, like you said, the malts of those black IPAs it just calms everything down. It gives you variety, but it's still a smooth beer. It's okay. So before we break,
yep,
it's not racist to call it a black IPA, right?
No, because it's legitimately a black IPA.
Okay, just wanted to clear that up. Because we don't call them black stouts. You just kind of know they're stouts. You know what I mean?
Right.
That they're going to be black.
Well, I think it's okay to have that identifier because so many IPAs are a yellow or
they're pale or hazy or whatever.
Like
yeah. Okay. All right. Good. I mean, so it's okay to characterize a person, to describe them, not necessarily their character qualities, but just, hey, that's a black dude.
Right.
I'm a white dude. Actually, I'm not even white. I'm pink. I'm pink. The Scottish are blue. Dude. The Irish are pink. There's all different hues, and everybody bleeds red, and it's all the same. But I just,
That's right.
I don't know where I'm going with that. We should probably get to our second beers.
We should.
Let's do it.
Back in a minute. All right, so getting into beer 2. I got another Texas beer.
Okay.
Now, this is by Weathered Souls.
Okay.
I've had them on before.
Yep.
The beer's name is Long Live the King. It's an Imperial Porter.
All right.
Black, black, black.
Yeah, I think the that Death's Tar, I think you could have, you wouldn't have seen the brightest sunlight coming through that. Like if you had a glass of that, I mean, it was just midnight black.
Oh yeah, no, this is exactly the same way. If I hold it up to the monitor with that nice white Google background for the dock, yeah, you can't see through it at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Big head though, brown. Excuse me. Wow. Malty. It smells like chocolate milk. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's already fun. Yeah, totally makes sense. Is it a a milk stout?
No, it's an Imperial Porter. Let's go to Weathered Soul's site though. And let's see, it's called Long Live the King. They actually have a place in North Carolina too.
That's weird that you say that, because guess where my beer is from?
Where's it from?
North Carolina.
North Carolina? Ooh,
yeah.
Look at that.
How weird is that? That's fucking bizarre, dude.
So I've actually had some of the Weathered Soul beers before on the show. And I don't know that I'm actually going to be able to get to this one because they don't do a great job of showing off all their beers. They rely on Untappd a lot, and that kind of sucks. But that's okay. I don't need them to do the job. That's not a problem. So let me take a drink here.
Yep.
Ooh. Clean. Drinks like a regular porter. The Imperial is going to get it up to 10%.
Okay, I was going to ask.
It is another mouth-watering beer, so I'm happy with both of those beers. Imperial Porter with hazelnut and coffee. That's the story. That's it. Simple.
I like it.
It is a 12-ouncer, so if I get through this one, I'm going to go for a third beer. Just to let you know. But
yeah, my first one was only a 12-ouncer, but man, I mean, it was a sipper. It went down like a bigger 16, 24-ounce beer. I mean, that was a sipper.
This is the same company that did Black is Beautiful, and it was raise awareness for the injustice of people. That's the one I had originally. So it was again cool brewery. I really like this beer though. It's quite good. I do get some chocolate. I do get a lot of malts. I mean, it's a typical porter. It drinks like a stout though. It really, really does. It's thick like a stout.
Yeah,
God, I cannot get over that chocolate milk smell. I cannot get over that.
That's great. I mean, the Breckenridge Vanilla Porter. I mean, maybe the most prominent and best panty dropper beer ever. I mean, you want to go out on a first date and your date's like, I don't really like beer. Have her try that one. She'll like beer, and it's going to be a good
she'll
night for
like
you.
you.
Yeah, exactly. She'll all of a sudden like you. But porters are really, I mean, I think it would be worth it. Definitely not now because we have a lot of doc to get to, but I think on a show, it would be worth us sort of going through the subtleties and the differences between a stout and a porter, and not necessarily for people's education, but more so that when we are talking about different beers, people can place it, because there is a big difference between a stout and a porter. How they're brewed, the ingredients that go into them, where they came from. I mean, porters don't just they didn't just come up with that name. They were the port beer for sailors coming back from long voyages, and why. There's some really good stories in there and some good history. So I think it'd be worth doing one night because there's an area there, and I think you're in it tonight with this beer. There's an area there where the two styles blend.
It's pretty
They
close.
they don't always blend, but sometimes they get real close, and you can't quite tell. Even if you have a distinguished palate, you can't quite tell if it's a stout or a porter, or it could be either.
Yeah, one's, you're right. This is like right on the edge. It really is.
Good stuff.
All right. So cool. What do you have over there?
All right. Well, I'm having a brand new brewery. I've never had a beer from this brewery before. It's called Fonta Flora, Fonta Flora, Flora, Fonta Flora Brewery from North Carolina, as I mentioned. Nebo, North Carolina. I'm not sure where that is. I've only been through North Carolina. I did not stop in North Carolina, so I don't know where Nebo is. Sounds like I need to go there though. So this beer is called Darwin's Forehead, and it's got some pretty great artwork on the front. I mean, it literally has, well, it'll make sense when I tell you the style of the beer. Here, I'll take a picture of the can
That's a fantastic name.
There you go. Yeah, Darwin's Forehead. So this is a salted brown porter.
Ooh, really?
Yeah. So let that swirl around a little bit in your ear hole, because I've never seen a beer called a salted brown porter. But
That's crazy.
Yeah, so the picture is of sweat coming off of Darwin's forehead. So that's, I guess, where the salt comes from. It's from Darwin's sweat, which is kind of disgusting.
Gorgeous can.
But yeah, isn't it? Really nice artwork. So anyway, Darwin's Forehead, salted brown porter. And I will tell you, most porters pour black, like McShane's did. This poured brown. And it's got a nice, almost like if any of you have had a Bass before, or like a Newcastle, it poured that color brown. But it's a porter because of the way they brewed it and the ingredients. So let's see what we got here.
I actually had a brown nitro yesterday. Kind of really super, super happy with it. So never had something like that before. Browns they're always interesting. They're filthy if they're done right.
Okay. So this is very, very nutty. I'm getting macadamia, maybe even like a almond at the end there. Very nutty. Very malty, smooth beer. This is kind of actually the perfect beer to have after that first one, because that thing just, like I said, it kicked my mouth nuts really hard. This one is massaging them and caressing them and telling them that everything's going to be okay. Very smooth beer. Very clean finish too. I cleaned my palate. I cleansed my palate, while we took our break, and so I got rid of all that, just the stuff that collects from a really thick stout like that first beer. So this one's just you drink it and it finishes. It's done. It's just really clean.
Neat.
Very, very nice beer.
Very cool. All right.
Yeah. Good stuff.
So that is a brewer we've never had on the show before. That's fontaflora.com. FONTAFLORA.com. So go ahead and check that out.
See, now that's interesting. On the website, it says that this is a 8%er.
Yeah.
On my can here, and this looks like it's from 2022. So this might just have taken a long time to get to my side of the country. But this is only a 6.2%. So they probably changed the recipe up. So it's not a real big beer. It's kind of like I said, it's just going to be a nice compliment to that first one that was over 14.
Well, it's a seasonal too, and it's not the brown season. It's lager, pale ales, IPAs,
right?
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yep.
So the Supreme Court
Well, they had a big week.
Well, they had a lot to get done. They had to get off to their they had to get onto their vacation, the 4th of July vacation.
Yep.
And pretty much just told everybody to suck it, which was pretty amazing in of itself.
I agree. And again, as we go forward with the stories that we're about to get to, understanding that one of the major roles that presidents get to play, I mean, yes, they're making day-to-day decisions, but one of the things they get to do is if a Supreme Court seat is vacated, the president gets to choose, their nominee to take that place. And typically, if you have a conservative Republican president, they're going to pick conservative Republican judges, and vice versa on the sort of liberal Democratic side. And so right now we have a 6-3 majority of conservative judges. And boy, is it showing. We first had, and we mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, their first big decision was that they ruled in favor of businesses against unionization from their employees. In fact, a business can sue employees if they cause damages by a strike, which is very pro-business. Very, that one shocked me. That one's scary. But then you have this week where, like you said, McShane, they kind of just stuck their middle fingers up and said, "Suck this. We're going to overturn some shit that should have been overturned a long time ago."
And the fallout from it, like we were talking about before we went to break, was the left freaking out. And it really came down to that affirmative action was overturned. That was the first one. Well, that wasn't the first one, I don't think, but that was the big one.
It was the big one. Yeah.
Yeah. Affirmative action in education was overturned, so that schools should not be using race as a factor when it comes to letting somebody into the school.
And hallelujah. And we do have a Hefe sighting. Hefe, what's up?
Are the fireworks going to be a distraction?
We don't hear anything yet. Are they going to be a distraction for you?
Apparently so.
All right. Well, don't.
All right. So in the background of our discussion, all we wanted you to say is "ooh, ooh," as the rocket's red glare go off, because we're going to be talking about the Supreme Court.
Can I touch myself while moving on?
Oh, yes, please.
I figured you were touching yourself every time you came on the show.
I mean,
is that not true?
Hefe, given your history, I mean, when are you not touching yourself?
That's a good point. I think this is the finale.
That's what she said.
Gotta be a finale.
You know what? That's the other thing that kind of drags on about these fireworks shows these days.
Fucking finales.
They have like several finales. It shouldn't. I mean, a finale is a finale. And I should know it when I see it. Like, okay, boom, that's everything you got.
Yeah.
You're throwing it all into the sky. It's all blowing up at once. Wow, and now I get to go home. But then they'll come out with more.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah.
Apparently that wasn't it.
Yeah, see?
Okay.
That was a false flag finale. That's a triple F.
I was thinking out there, because we can hear them going off inside. What if, like, as soon as they started, I yelled, "Active shooter"? How much trouble would I get
in? Marginal amount. I mean, I'm sure it won't be too much.
I'm not sure you'd have a job anymore, but oh my God, would that be worth it?
I mean, what if I really didn't know? Oh, we're having fireworks on the 1st. Well, okay.
Right.
Okay. I mean, it's the same month, I guess.
Yeah.
Mr. Hefe, we'd like to see you in HR. Can you come down here for a minute? Is that all right?
Oh, did that girl talk? No. This is about the active shooter thing.
No, yeah.
Okay.
That.
Oh, good. Okay. Perfect.
Yikes.
So the Supreme Court decides that it's not okay for educational establishments to use race as a piece of their admittance process. Um, it's 2023. Can we get over it? If you want to go ahead and give somebody a leg up, you should definitely look at, the economic structure for those individuals.
Thank you.
Right?
And let's start this battle against racism and poverty. Let's start that at fucking preschool, not in college. They should have a leg up in preschools and kindergartens, and they should get all of the best high quality teachers you can throw at them. That shouldn't be a free ticket. Let me back that up. It shouldn't be an easier ticket into college. I'm sorry. That if you're solving the problem that late, you already fucking failed.
So this is just Harvard's numbers. Asians 12.7% admittance, whites 15.3%, Hispanics 31.3%, blacks 56.1%.
So in other words, over half the African Americans, over half they get accepted. Over more qualified, higher qualified Asian, white, and Hispanic students, they get selected. And I'm sorry, that's racist. I'm just gonna say
it is. It's straight racist. Up racist.
Yep.
This isn't the 1960s. This isn't the 1970s. Okay, can we just get off of that? And the amount of the amount of vitriol that has come out over the last couple of days, and the assumption that a black person cannot get into college because they are excellent is fucking bullshit. And I have seen so much white guilt and just this virtue signaling bullshit.
Yep.
Over the last few days.
Same.
The best people, emphasis on the word people, human being, if you will, should be able to get into these top tier schools. Now, you could totally do something with legacies. I don't think legacies should necessarily, I think a legacy should be judged on their merit too. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I think they should be judged on that also. If you've got a damn near a 5.0, yeah, you should probably be going to Harvard. And Harvard should also be not teaching you bullshit left-wing stuff that dumbs everything down and just makes things worse. Also, that's another argument.
I mean, who the fuck wants to be in colleges anymore? Because they're just liberal farms. I mean, that's all they're doing is just producing these ridiculous leftist liberal bullshit, and it needs to be stopped. But neither here nor there. It is absolutely. I'm so glad you brought that up, McShane, because all week, that's all we've seen is, and I love the backtracking. These people will say something like, I can't believe this is happening, and all you're gonna see. This one person said, all you're gonna see now on college campuses are black athletes. That's the only blacks that will make it is the athletes.
That is fucking terrible. That's
and this
terrible.
One dude that I follow, he fired back. He's like, "What the fuck did you just say? Please say that to my face."
And they would never say that to their face.
No.
We're sorry. This is not the 1950s anymore. Can we dispense with that bullshit?
And even in the 1950s, there were black people who made it to college on their own merit.
It's called working hard.
Yep.
And that's the same thing that everybody else should be doing. It's not a color. It's not a race thing.
And that's exactly right. I one of the people who I have drawn inspiration from over the years, and I mean, say what you will, but I have always been a Will Smith fan. And he gave an interview on PBS on one of the talk shows. I don't remember what it was, but the guy interviewing him said, what do you think? You become a very successful rapper. You came from nothing. I mean, he came from nothing. You become a very successful rapper. You're like the number one action star in movies right now, because he was at the time. This interview was done back in the early 2000s, I think right after Independence Day came out. And he said, what do you think, it is that separates you from everybody else? I mean, why have you excelled? And Will Smith just said, simply, he said, look, if you and me, we get on a treadmill, you get on a treadmill next to me, and we're both on this treadmill, he said, one of two things is going to happen. Either I'm going to die on that treadmill, or I'm going to beat you. You're going to get off it before I am. I will die to be on there longer than you. Period. Yep. He said, while my competitors are sleeping and eating and taking time, I'm working. I'm perfecting my craft. I'm becoming an exceptional person. I'm working harder than they are. I will outwork you. And that's what poverty should do for people. I know it doesn't always, and I know I'm not advocating for, people to be in poverty so that we can create some greatness, but I am saying that you can turn that frown upside down and make something of yourself regardless of your color. And that's right? That's the American dream, right? Regardless of the color of your skin, you should be able to do whatever it is you feel driven to do.
That's the whole point. Yes.
That is the whole point. And it is absolutely, yeah, go ahead.
Hefe, what's your take?
Anyway, I'm inside now.
All right.
Are you safe?
I think so.
Are you safe from the active shooter? Yeah.
God.
Be him.
Oh God. All right. Well, Hefe, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So your kids are mixed race. Your wife is black. You are not. So this decision actually directly affects your children. What do you feel about this?
Oh, well, I think, the original idea is a good idea. And I heard you say something about people in the 50s, black people in the 50s were going to school. So I think, honestly, the whole country needs to reset everything. The race and the whole thing is broken. So no matter what decision you make on who gets into school, who doesn't, who gets assistance to get into school, who doesn't, half the people are going to be pissed off.
Yeah.
So, that's I don't know. My kids could benefit from some assistance just because they're half black. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, but is it? Do you want your kids? Let's say your son has a 3.2 average. You want him beating out other kids that have a 4.0 just because of who his mother was?
Does not seem fair.
Does not seem fair. And I know who you are as a father. I think you would want to say to your son, then you need to work harder, dude. You need to push yourself harder. And okay, you have a 3.2. Maybe you can get an athletic scholarship because you're a fucking stud on the basketball court. So let's work there. Or how about you bring your fucking grades up because you're smart enough, and we'll talk then. I'm with Hefe in some degree. I do see the merits of it. I do see that the original idea had a solid moral standing, a solid moral ground. But as you have said a few times, McShane, this is not the 50s. This is 2023. And we need to, if we're going to move past race in this country, then we have to get rid of racism. And this law was people. It has to be about the person, period. Not about their physical, racial, religious orientation, sexual orientation. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit what you do in your personal life. What can you bring to my company? What can you bring to my school? And is it something I want? Then fucking sign you up and put on the goddamn uniform. And if it's not, because we have too many like you, whether it's white, black, Asian, whatever, then I'm not taking you because I already have you represented in my school. Go to another school. I want somebody different than you. Period. Just say that. That would solve all of it.
I've gone on record before that I feel very strongly that education should be virtually free in this country.
Agreed. Agreed.
High like you want to go to a 4-year, okay, you should be paying maybe half of you should be paying into it. I think there should be grants. I think there should be some kind of I think loans are predatory, period, when it comes to school.
100%.
I think there should be some kind of a mechanism there. Why not go ahead and put the emphasis on somebody who actually comes from an economic background where, okay, I can't afford to go to a 4-year, but I would love to be able to go to at least a 2-year school.
Yeah.
And maybe you make grants available for that person who's only making 25 grand a year, 30 grand a year. You know, that single mom that has 4 kids, husband died or whatever the story is, ran out, or single dad, and give those kids a benefit, some kind of a leg up. We don't have to put it down so that it's only going to be about race. It doesn't have to be that, because when you look at it, you've got poor in all parts of the country, when it doesn't matter whether it's Asian, Latino, black, it doesn't matter. We've got poor all over the place. We've got veterans, okay, that could use help like that.
You bet.
And I know we've got the GI Bill, but come on, what the fuck does that do, really? So
not enough.
It's just we got to evolve past this crap. And the more the Democrats spend time wallowing around in this and trying to use that as an excuse and trying to use that as a platform to run on in a presidential race year,
yes,
it's insulting. And I'm not going to pretend to be butthurt for anybody, for any race out there who feels like they're being marginalized in this because of the actions that the Supreme Court took, but I'm just going to call bullshit on it the way it is. This is a running platform. This is the kind of stuff that's supposed to get jackass put back into the presidency. And Democrats elected to Congress, that's what this is all about.
Well, I neither one of us have had our first cheers of the night. So my first cheers goes to you, my brother. Well said. That's exactly right.
I appreciate that. It's very, very frustrating. And then you've got this other Supreme Court voted down the bill or the presidential executive order to erase student debt. I have student debt still. I still owe like $7,000. I signed off on the note. I took it out so that I would be able to go ahead and go to school.
Yep.
I took responsibility for that.
Yep. I mean, I paid mine off. And believe me, through, I mean, my economic, I'm one of those people. I mean, you know, full disclosure here. I'm one of those people that I had zero knowledge on finances growing up.
Right.
I mean, it just wasn't taught. My mom didn't know it. She was doing the best she could, so she couldn't teach me. It's not taught in high school. I mean, what the fuck am I going to do with Algebra 1? Teach me how to balance a fucking checkbook. Teach me what a loan is. Teach me what interest rates are.
It's more important to have gender studies now.
Okay. So I went into the military. That wasn't for me. I got out. I went back to school. You and I were going to school together. Some really great times. I will never forget Mr. Winter. Was that his name?
Oh, yeah.
Western civilization teacher. That dude was insane. Anyway, I took out loans. I got some grants, but I took out loans, and they became a real problem for me. I fell behind. The interest rate, the juice was running. They multiplied. I think, you know, at the end of everything, I think I took out $25,000 in loans. I ended up paying close to 50. Just because the juice was running. So yes, to your point, they are predatory. B, I signed up for it, so I fucking paid it off. When I finally got a job that made the money that I was making double payments every month just to get rid of it, just so I could be done with it. And I'm sorry for all of you out there who feel like you got a bad rap and that you feel like somehow, Gen X, that we had some kind of leg up on you, that we got better jobs than you did because of our degrees. We didn't. I didn't even get a degree from the student loans I took out. My degree
we've all had
came
to
later.
out hustle everybody to get wherever we were going to
That's
go.
right. We just out hustled everyone. That's right.
We didn't grow up the 2-drink lunch days.
Right.
Right. We didn't grow up when nepotism was live and well.
No.
Well, I think we're back to that in a lot of ways too, but we didn't get the benefit of that kind of stuff. Everything that we got, we had to fucking work for.
We scratched and clawed and worked our way through it. And so don't tell me that there were better opportunities available to us or that the cost of a home was less for us. No, inflation has been inflation and will always be inflation. And yeah, you guys got a bad rap, but you also signed up for these loans. And so you need to fucking pay them off, period. And again, like McShane said, I mean, if someone had come along when I owed still $25,000 on my loans and said, hey, we're going to pay off 10 or 15 of that, I would have said yes. But if it went away and it was found to be unconstitutional, which is what the Supreme Court ruled, then I would say, okay, well, back to the drawing board. I'm going to figure out a way to pay these loans off.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I did. And so the like you said, the visceral uproar on affirmative action, not paying student loans, I'm sorry, I can't identify with you. That's invalid. It's you took out a loan, period. Pay it back.
You take out a car loan, you got to pay it back or your car gets repoed.
Well,
you take out a loan on your home. What they're doing is they're devaluing education. I mean, that's really what it is, right?
What value does it have anymore? I mean, sure.
Well, I think it actually matters. If I do think it matters. But
in what sense? In what sense?
Well, I think it forces you to think things through. I think it forces critical thinking, which we're absolutely devoid of these days.
See,
I think it depends on where you go. I think that's a very, very, very important piece of this.
Dude, I actually, personally, I think you get more critical thinking out of a fucking Cracker Jacks box than you get out of colleges right now. Colleges have an agenda. They preach it. The professors don't ask questions anymore. And if they do ask questions, it's to lead you in a certain direction to get you over to their agenda. It's not to say, hey, let's question all authority. I mean, we came out of an era where our parents went to college in the 60s and 70s, when colleges were this liberal cauldron of bubbling ideas where they taught you to question everything. Even if you think you don't know, go back and question it. That somehow, that cauldron turned into a cesspool of, okay, I'm going to restructure what you think you know into what you should know. And that's very different. That's very different from question everything to, hey, question all this other stuff because this is the actual facts over here. And I'm talking all the issues we talk about on the show, climate change, sexuality, gender, all of it is coming down to what we say is truth because we say it is, and not because you've somehow found your way to the truth. So I don't think colleges teach critical thinking anymore. I really don't. You get far more critical thinking by listening to a podcast like Whiskey Hell, or even honestly, even going to a junior college. Go to your local JC. You're going to get a lot more thought-provoking discussion in a class.
I would agree with that.
Okay.
I would completely agree with that.
I mean, and these pillars of society that we used to look at, of education, like, the Harvards, the Yales, all the Ivy League schools, and then even down to, the Stanfords, and I mean, even ASU. There's an agenda
But aren't you? Isn't there a lot of catering to the customer though? I mean, we went from having somebody going to school as a student to now they're more like customers. I mean, it's the equivalent of going to Starbucks at times.
I actually think that's where the problem started. Yes, I 100% agree. Colleges are money-making ventures now. They are not about education or sort of changing the political sphere. It's more about just catering to what the social norms want you to go towards. And so because you can get more students.
If we took out the money factor there, would that clean things up a little bit? If the government's paying for that 2-year school and half of your 4-year, rather than sending money overseas to Ukraine, doesn't that take care of some of this?
Whoa! Zelensky's a hero.
I know. Can you imagine how many kids could have gotten an education because of our the $6.2 million billion that was the accounting error?
Just that one accounting error would have taken care of an entire class of students. Yeah, no, I mean that's a great point.
I'm with you though. It's broken. It's definitely broken.
It's broken, and I'm with Hefe. I mean, the whole system's broken. You know, you can. I mean, I think Hefe's opinion on this is more valid than maybe, well, no, for sure, than yours or mine, because you know he is dealing with the other side of the racist card, and his kids are gonna grow up in a society where they kind of belong to both, but they don't belong to either. Right. And that's a shifty kind of interesting place to be. I mean, on one sense, I sort of envy them because they're going to have skills that you and I never had to have just to get along.
Right.
But they're going to be fucking amazing because of it. And on the other side of it, I'm like, shit, they have some struggles ahead of them that no matter how amazing their personalities are or what skills they develop, there are going to be people who would judge them literally because they aren't like them. And so for Hefe to say, look, the whole system is broken and we need to start over. And maybe that's the theme of Whiskey Hell, because we've been saying that since the beginning. There are a lot of broken things, and I don't know what's going to fix them. I mean, the debate is going on. I'm glad for that. Although censorship is a thing, we haven't even started talking about Canada and the censorship going on there. Holy shit! But there is a debate, at least in this country, still, and I'm just hoping that the debate continues. That we get to continue to have a social discourse on where we're going, because I think for years we were kind of status quo and, well, affirmative action has to be there because, and now Supreme Court's saying, actually, it's unconstitutional and we need to relook at that. Well, shit, now there's a conversation going on. So, I mean, not a bad thing, but definitely something to think about.
Used. It just depends on how it's being used, because you don't see conservatives running around trumpeting, "Oh my gosh, this is such a great thing." All you hear is the vitriol coming from the left and what a travesty it is. Hey, can we get into France?
Yes, I've been wanting to get into France.
I know we've gone so. I mean, it's been a deep night, and we do still have a lot to cover. So I know if you're looking at how much time we're going to spend some more time here. But let's go ahead and get into Paris. And, this is a Reuters article. France's interior minister said on Friday the coming hours would be decisive as he sent 45,000 police onto the streets following 3 nights of riots since an officer shot dead a teenager at a traffic stop in a working-class suburb in Paris.
And let's add the subcontext to that. He was an immigrant. Was it Algerian? Yeah. He was Algerian, and that's not... Moroccan descendant. So So here in the U.S., we've got our own immigration issue coming in from the South, the South Central American and Mexicans coming across the border. It's an issue. In France, they're all coming from, Algiers, Morocco, Northern Africa. They cross the sea and they just arrive, and they kind of have a similar immigration policy that we do, which is, all right, come on in. We'll set a date for some kind of trial that you have to attend to see if you're allowed to be here. But then, of course, by then they're lost in the wind. They're off, and they're making a living, and they never show up to the court date. But there's no way to find them either. It's not like they have a fucking tracking device on them. So off they go, and there are thousands and thousands and thousands of them in France, as there are here in the U.S. for our immigrants. Well, you have this young immigrant man gets pulled over for a traffic stop, gets shot dead, and powder keg.
So we're 5 nights in, and we've got, riots like no other. For me, I haven't seen all the footage, but to me, it looks like way worse than any of the BLM riots. We've got buildings, historic buildings that weathered World War II caving in. There is so much damage. There's so much fire. The dystopian nightmare that is France right now is unreal, and it's being swept under the rug too.
By the mainstream media, for sure.
By any mainstream media. BBC won't even acknowledge that there's hardly anything other than there's a couple of protests. Well, it's like the whole fucking country. I saw a map earlier today, and it was just the icons. It was pretty interesting because the icons were like bonfires. Well, the whole country had fire in it. There were like 60 different places all over France. Marseille. God, what was it? It was there was one it starts with a G, and I can't think of what it was now.
Yeah, there's a few French cities that,
Gilly,
and again,
maybe?
sorry, we don't speak French, so we're gonna butcher these names. Marseille, you got that one correct, but there's some of them where I was reading that, I'm like, that's not how that's pronounced, because half of those vowels you don't say.
Right.
But yes, it is all over France, all over. And what's crazy is there seems to be a shift in philosophy of the rioters, because usually, you picture a riot, it's a bunch of people walking down the street with a bunch of signs, and they meet the police, and then the guys in the front of the police and the guys in the front of the rioters kind of clash, and there might be some batons hitting a head or whatever, but that's the end of it. There's a shift in France. These people are taking over. So things that I've seen on fire, a city bus, which just full on, pedal to the floor, blasting through barricades, and on fire while it's doing it. I've seen a construction crane being, it's on fire, 60 floors up, and it's just on fire, melting. I've seen a police, whatever those 6-wheeled fucking combat assault vehicles are called. I don't even know what they're called, but I've seen one of those being driven by a citizen. They took it over, they commandeered it, and drove it through a building. I've seen, what was the other one? Shit. Well, plenty of cop cars. So the protesters are not just protesting. They're looking to cause as much harm, as much damage as they can. They're setting fires. They're throwing cars out of parking garages. It is insane. I want you all to go onto Twitter and just put in, France protests, French protests, French riots, whatever the keyword that's going to get you there. But go and look at some of this footage, because what's sad is it's probably going to be taken down. It's probably going to be, it's already being heavily censored. In fact, I saw a video today. A guy in Canada said, my brother lives in the US, and he's telling me about all the stuff that's going on in France. So I went to look it up, and I can find nothing Nobody in Canada has any idea any of this is going on. It's being completely blocked out by the algorithms in Canada. So you can't see it on TikTok, on YouTube, on anything. Censorship, it's happening, and it's a major fucking problem. And it's coming here, I'm sure. I mean, we're on the cusp of it here. It's actually insanity, and I mean, complete chaos. And of course, Macron. So the riots started on Wednesday. On Friday night, so last night, he went and he was partying out.
Yeah, he was out at an Elton John.
There you go. Yep.
Concert.
So the cops are here beating the shit out of young people, and he's out partying with Sir Elton John. And I nothing against Sir Elton John. Macron's a piece of shit.
You know, these aren't just Algerians and North Africans that are doing this. You have a very pissed off country. Yep. You have a country that's being marginalized. You've got a leader that believes fully in censorship. He did send, he is required, Twitter, per EU law, nothing is allowed to go ahead and get shown back into France when it comes to any kind of, the stuff that we're looking at, the cars, the bus on fire, all that kind of stuff. None of that stuff can get back to France. All of it's being filtered. So, and that's EU rules. But this comes on the heels of what he did, 3 months ago during our Vive la France show, when he decided that I'm going to go ahead and change the retirement rule, the law from age of 62 to 65. That pissed off everybody. That was like a week and a half, 2 weeks worth of riots. And now you've got this, and he's not acting on it. If he acts on it, if he declares a state of emergency, it's gonna make him look bad.
Yeah.
If he decides that, you know what, hey, we're done allowing refugees to come into the country, it's gonna make him look bad. This guy is so worried. He's like Trudeau's little brother. Or big brother, depending. I don't know who's older. They were actually reminding me of both of each other, but they're so worried about how they look and just wanting to be a paper dragon that it's awful. It is absolutely awful. And when I see, I don't like this happening in France, but God damn, it was time.
Well, look, you reap what you sow, right? Morocco and Algiers was a French colony for a long time. Most of Northern Africa was a French colony for a long time. So guess what? What happens when you have a colony in Northern Africa? All of those Northern Africans speak French fluently. They speak their own language too, but they speak French fluently. So they can literally come into your country and you would never know if they were a citizen or not. And so, I mean, you had years and years of sort of this imperialist, colonistic attitude towards the Moroccans. You taught them your language, your culture, and now they're coming back into your country because their country's shit. I mean, there's no jobs in Morocco.
No.
So now they're coming to your country looking for a better life and blending in seamlessly with the population. You're fucked. So I do one part of this story that is maybe the most dystopian, but also the most fun to talk about, is that the protesters have taken to going to the local zoos.
Yep.
And freeing all of the bizarre animals. So there are literally pictures of zebra running down the streets of French cities. I mean, and there's fire. There's fire everywhere. But these zebras are running down the fucking streets. You had lions attacking. 2 people got attacked by a lion who was freed in, God, I want to say Marseille, but I think that's wrong. We will find it. But so you have literally African animals running around loose in these French cities. And the cops are just trying to stop the people. and you have a stampede of zebras coming at you. Also, fucking bizarre and entertaining. And what the fuck is happening?
I mean, I feel for him, because when we were watching the BLM riots, which I am still, the BLM riots don't hold anything to what we're seeing here.
No.
It was pretty bad. Don't get me wrong, and it was all over the country, true. Which, much bigger country than France, obviously. But it's surreal, just what's going on there, and you've got their military is not willing to go in there. You have the chief of police for Paris is pushing back against Marcon, because he won't declare a state of emergency.
State of
He's
emergency.
Like, well, if you're not going to put yourself out there, you obviously don't think it's that big of a deal. So I'm not going to send my guys out there. Fuck this. And he said that, honestly, then the police are going to turn around and start revolting.
Yep.
Which is a huge twist.
That's what I was just going to say. So there's I guess you'd consider them like the SWAT team of France. I think they're called Riot or Riot or whatever, however you say it in French.
Yeah.
But these like specialized police officers that, they're there to take care of the really bad situations, the hostage situations, a small military force coming into a major city, whatever. But they had these guys, and this woman was on a bicycle, and I will have to find the video. She's on a bicycle. She's sort of she's an older woman. She's not like a 20-something. She's probably a 50-something. She's on a bicycle. She's part of these protests, and the regular police are there, but she kind of gets through them, and then she gets to these Riot police, these specialized guys, and they just hammer her. They trip up her bike. They tear her bike away from her. They slam her to the ground. They're beating the shit out of her. And you can see these guys. I mean, these guys are taking testosterone shots, and they're on fucking steroids, and they're all roided out. And even they are like, what the fuck are we doing? I mean, after they beat the shit out of this woman, they cuff her, and then they start looking around like, what the hell? Then all of a sudden reality hits, and they go, okay. And they help her up. They clean her up. She's got a cut on her face. They wipe it up. I mean, they're trying to be like sons. This could be their mother. And it's insanity. It's fucking crazy.
It's battle lust. I mean,
right. Exactly.
You have people who are not. You don't train for this. I know we like to pretend that our police are training for this shit. They're not.
Nope. They are.
You're not training with people who legitimately they're throwing Molotovs at you. You're not training with live Molotov cocktails. Okay. You're not having fireworks that are going off left and right, and then you're getting a brick upside the head. That's not how you train. And that's what it's war. It's war, street warfare.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing that I think that's getting buried in all this. Who benefits from this?
That's the question, isn't it? You raised that question earlier today, and I don't know. I can't. You always say follow the money. I'm not sure. Unless, okay, so here's the one scenario I came up with, which is that Macron is losing his grip on the country, and so he needs an enemy that will then polarize the population to give him all the political capital and all the military capital he needs to put down this insurrection, and then he can establish himself as supreme ruler again, as the guy in control. That's all I can see. And if that's the play, he's failing miserably. I mean, miserably, because the country is out of control still.
So he went to China.
Yeah.
Is there any value in making sure he gets booted because he went to China? because he was trying to make nice with China. He was trying to, hey, he was hey, I'm your white knight. If you want to go back to
Hans Booby. Yeah.
Yeah. It makes
you know what?
Got to make you wonder.
I sent a text earlier today, I believe, to you and Hefe, and I think this kind of sums up how I feel about probably the past month. At this point, basically my text said, at this point, I'm ruling nothing out and I would believe anything. I mean,
yeah.
every option that you are putting out there, that people we talk to on Twitter, that any of our listeners, anything you put out there is plausible. It's completely plausible. I cannot dismiss it. I can't, because it could happen. If you told me that Macron tomorrow did a press conference, and in the middle of the press conference, he reached up and unzipped his face and he was the fucking devil, I'd be like, well, okay. Kind of makes sense. I get it. And totally plausible. Or on the flip side, if Macron is assassinated tomorrow, I would also believe that. I mean, we are at the point in history, and again, this is going back to something I said earlier in the show. What a time to be alive. You can't. There is something that is sort of exciting and exhilarating about the fact that you cannot predict what's going to happen tomorrow. You can try. You can try. But how many times have we said, well, I didn't have that on my bingo card? I mean, African animals running wild on the streets of Paris and Marseille and whatever other. No, I did not have that on my bingo card. Nobody did. That's some crazy shit. And someone needs to make a movie about it, because it'd be fucking great. I mean, it's almost like 12 Monkeys kind of stuff.
Oh, it's damn close to that.
I mean, so
it's like, I was thinking this week, why I would love to go ahead and zoom out like 20 years and see where we're at.
Same.
And then that scares the fuck out of me too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So, all right, so we're almost at 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Okay. Want to do rapid fire? Do we want to get a third beer and go rapid fire?
Let's do a third beer. And yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
All right.
That sounds fantastic to me. All right.
All right. So a rare beer 3. Fitz, let's kick it back to you. What beer are you bringing for the third one?
All right. Well, you're actually not going to believe this. And I know every time I say something like that, it makes you nervous.
I do clench a little
because we've known each other too long for you to just dismiss that as he's just.
This is going to be fun. Okay, Go ahead.
No, but actually, no. This is going to be a pleasant surprise. Remember back in the days when we used to go to the Barney Stone, and Guinness was that was what we drank. Yeah. But every once in a while, you wanted something that maybe was a little more desserty, more of a luxury, more of a treat, and so you would get the half Guinness, half Lindemans. It's kind of a
Lindemans,
almost like you remember the fruity wine beer.
Oh, the Framboise. Yeah.
Framboise,
okay.
Yes. The Lindemans Framboise.
Yeah. I got
and
you.
I believe that was a blackberry. Was it a blackberry?
Yeah. Was that no? Well, okay. Cider was a snake bite. Black and Tans, Guinness
was Bass and Guinness.
And Bass.
Yep.
I know what you're talking about though. It's okay.
Okay. So I mean, any of you who haven't had a Lindemans, it's a fruit beer. And it's sweet. I mean, it's a treat. It really is a treat. Anyway, and it's from an ancient. I mean, when I say ancient, I mean like back when champagne wasn't even a thing yet. They were making this Lindemans Framboise beer. So this particular recipe comes from 1822, but again, it goes back further, and it's a Belgian beer. But this one is the Lindemans Strawberry. It's a lambic beer. Aromatic, soft strawberry flavor character, wild yeast fermentation, exceptional complexity. So this is it is a traditional beer, but they add in strawberries, fresh strawberries, during the brewing process, and it comes out very, very sweet, very aromatic. I mean, you smell this thing, it's like strawberry shortcake. Anyway, I got an entire, well, no, not just one. I got 2 cases of this stuff. And
What?
not because I think I'm going to drink it all, but because I want to send some to you. I want to send some to Hefe. I think our friends over at the Gray's Tap Room would enjoy some strawberry framboise. It's absolutely divine. So that's what I'm doing for my third beer.
Wow.
I can't tell you the ABV. They don't have it on here because it comes from Belgium, and they are not required to put the ABV on their shit. So it is what it is. But I'll take
4.1.
Okay, there you go. I was gonna say it's not high. It's a nice way to just sort of cruise, but.
So for a lambic, you're talking, it's more of a, well, here, Lindemann's strawberry is made from 1-year-old oak-aged lambic and pure strawberry juice. A dark red, orangey, slightly cloudy color, deliciously fruity with a flavor of freshly picked strawberries. It's a sharp and full-bodied flavor, gives way to a perfect balance between the sweet and the sour. So it's like a farmhouse ale. It's a very drinkable beer. This is the kind of thing you drink when you're coming in from the fields, right?
Oh, dude, you wanna shotgun this. I mean, it's so tasty. It is. It's sweet. It's sour. It's fruity, and yet at the end of the day, you have to say this is a beer. This is a beer, maybe more than some other things that call themselves beers are.
How close is it to a juice?
It's far from a juice. I wouldn't say it's a juice. I would say it's not a juice. I would say it's closer to a wine, but not even that, because you don't get that sort of pungent fermentation smell that you get with wines, which is not a bad thing. I mean, I know wine drinkers, that's what they crave. I'm just saying you don't get that from this. You just get, I mean, pure strawberry scent. The taste is strawberry, but it is a beer. At the end of the day, you're like, okay, there was some malt, there was some wheat in there, there was a fermentation process.
Right.
Just fucking really just very tasty. Anyway, after that huge 14.8% or whatever I started with, this is a nice way to bring me down off of my my Death Tar high. So
good. Right.
Yeah, it's delicious. I mean, everything you'd expect: strawberry, sweet and sour. I think one of the main reasons I bought 2 cases because my mother needs to have some of this. She loves the framboise.
Oh,
and I think
totally
she
does.
really, yeah, she'd love the strawberry of this one. So I'm going to send her at least a 4-pack, maybe a couple of 4-packs, and then I want to send you some, and then if Hefe's interested, but I'll figure that out. So anyway, great stuff, delicious, great way to end the night. What about you? What's your third beer?
So I went with a barrel-aged Doppelbock, and I was jonesing to get into this one. This is from Wilcox, Arizona.
Nice.
It's the brewery at Torito Farms. So Wilcox, it's kind of out in the boonies.
Yeah.
You wouldn't expect a brewery out there to be like this, but these guys these guys have some teeth. This beer is available now in cans and kegs in very limited quantities, adding a Southwest twist to a traditionally brewed German Doppelbock. We added agave nectar in the boil kettle and decided to age this beer further in mezcal barrels from Oaxaca.
Oh shit.
And sotol barrels from Texas. This beer has a rich, sweet malt character with a depth of flavor added from the mezcal and sotol barrels. So for a Doppelbock, you're thinking a little malty, earthy though, and but it has those German influences. It's like a dark pilsner.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And I'm thinking earthy. I'm thinking something that's going to be a little more chewy, right, than a Pilsner. Smells really good. Smells like a strong ale.
8.4%. That's a healthy ABV.
That's a big Doppelbock.
Yeah, it is.
Oh. So I've had a couple of barrel-aged Doppelbocks before. That is really good.
Outstanding.
Ooh, that's really, really good.
God damn, we've been all over the map tonight on our beers.
Oh, all over the map and all over the show, and that's a wow. That might be the beer of the night.
Yeah, I like.
I gotta think that through. Whoa.
I like that. I just like the concept, a barrel-aged Doppelbock. I'm not sure I've ever experienced that.
No, I'm gonna have to see if I can find some more of those, and I'm gonna have to plan a trip out to Wilcox. I would go there for this.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So rapid fire. Let's go ahead and pummel some of these things. We don't want to run too long, but we do have some cool, bizarre stuff to get to. The war on pizza fits. New York. Is New York just officially lost their goddamn minds?
Well, I kind of feel like they are the East Coast California.
Let's listen to this guy.
Yeah, this poor guy. I feel bad for him because he had a point to make. He kind of fucked it up, and also no one was listening. But dude, I'm with you. Whoever you are, I am so with you because yes,
Scott
there's a war on
Libido.
pizza,
Yep.
and it's fucking stupid. So I'm with you, dude.
Oh God.
Pizza's for the mayor.
Oh my God.
The woke-ass idiots who run this city are doing everything in their power to destroy it. We have naked men with their titties bouncing around all over the city yesterday, in public, in front of children. We have the most violent, raging crime rate ever. We are being invaded by illegal immigrants who are being treated way better than our homeless veterans, our teachers, and first responder heroes who were fired, still not compensated, because they didn't take the Fauci injection. Our city schools produce the dumbest kids, and the woke-ass punks who run New York City are afraid of pizza. The world used to respect New Yorkers as tough, thick-skinned, and gritty. Now we have become pussified. It's a damn shame. You heard of the Boston Tea Party? Well, this is the New York, this is the New York Pizza Party. Give us pizza or give us death. Give us
God,
pizza or give us death.
he's wasting all that good
Give
pizza.
us pizza or give us death.
So this carries on for another minute. He's just
Yeah.
He's got these extra large cheese pizzas, and he's just chucking them
Dude.
over the fence at City
And
Hall.
We were just talking about pizza. What, 2 shows ago?
Yeah, last week.
Yeah,
we
last
totally
week.
were.
What belongs on pizza? And listen,
Oh God, this poor guy.
I don't
he's so
prefer
pissed.
New York pizza, but damn it, as he's chucking this, I'm like, dude, I would eat all of that. I mean, that's good
Yeah.
pizza he's throwing.
But
And
New
he-
York is pizza. That's
right.
the kicker. New York is
Fuck
pizza.
yeah, they're
So-
Italians.
So all of this comes from a new law that they want to go ahead and put on the books of where they're going to go ahead and they're attacking wood-fired pizzerias.
Yep.
They must cut carbon emissions up to 75%. Okay. This is where this is where the climate cult comes into perspective. Rather than dealing with things that are actual climate producers, right? Actual influence, like jets, I don't know, personal jets, maybe the personal helicopters that everybody has in Manhattan.
And again, everybody who follows the show and or follows me on Twitter, you know where I stand on this. CO2 is not a bad thing. It is plant food, and all of our ecosystem of food, whether you're a staunch vegetarian or whether you are, meat only, that shit starts with plants. I mean, the meat you're eating had to eat some plants to make meat. And so CO2 is plant food. And historically, the warmer this planet is and the more CO2 that's in the atmosphere, the more plants we have and the more animals flourish. And the inverse is true. When we go into an ice age and all the CO2 gets trapped in the oceans and the ice, there's hardly any plants, there's hardly any animals, and nobody eats worth a shit. And so for us to attack wood-fired pizza, again, to your point, McShane, when we have these private jets flying all over the planet, we have these private yachts, we have private helicopters emitting way more. And let's not even broach the subject of several volcanoes around the world, which are starting to pop off, which in minutes emit more CO2 than, a city like New York would emit in a year. And that's a fact. You can go and check that on me.
France is burning.
Right. And
right?
The forest fires, etc. So
let's not talk about what's happening in Canada. All right. Yeah, go ahead.
so to attack wood fire and the emissions that they're asking these guys to do is, I mean, it's dramatic. 75% reduction. I have to tell you this funny story. You'll get a kick out of this. So a buddy of mine who we've talked about on the show a few times, he was a Kung Fu student of mine, and then we just became friends, and he owns a coffee roastery. Well, the state of Oregon, in its infinite wisdom, has decided that there needs to be a emissions limit on anything that burns to make a living. So yeah, pizza places, coffee roasteries, even breweries, because they're boiling their stuff, they have to have a certain amount of emissions, a limit to the emissions coming out. So this woman comes out to my buddy Michael's place, and she says, I have to check out your roaster, the emissions coming out of your roaster. And he said, oh, okay. That's never happened before. She said, well, it's a new law. And he said, okay, so what are you, he was expecting her to pull out some kind of fancy machinery or something. She said, no, I'm just going to stand across the street. I'd like you to fire up the roaster and roast some beans, some coffee beans. I'm going to go stand across the street. And I shit you not, this is what she said. I have specially trained eyes that will be able to determine whether or not you're emitting too much or not.
Lawsuit.
So he fires it up. Of course, what do you know? He's admitting too many emissions. So she comes in, and instead of, and I really wish you never met Michael. I don't think when you were here, you didn't meet Michael. I wish, no, you need to meet him to know the restraint that this man, who was a former bouncer, grew up in Mission Beach, California, got in fights every day, to know the restraint this man had when she said, you're emitting too much. And he said, instead of popping off and being like, fuck you, you got to be fucking kidding me. He said, okay, what do I have to do? Basically, it was a $500 fee. He paid the $500, and she was like, okay, we will give you a special sensor that goes up there that will determine, to make sure that you're not emitting too much.
Oh, whatever.
So it's extortion. It's 100% extortion.
It's government extortion. It's just like taxes.
Exactly. It's so anyway, that's all a really long way to say that this ridiculous attack on I mean, you said it, dude. New York is pizza. The fuck are you talking about? You're going to limit them? How?
20 grand to put this filter system in.
Fuck
now,
you.
I want to know who created the filter system, Who's
Yep,
getting the
who's getting
kickbacks
paid.
for making sure that
Yep.
that filter system goes in?
Who's getting paid? Yep.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it comes down to. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Unreal.
Period.
Unreal.
Hey, Smoke's racist.
Yeah, I thought you would like this one.
I fucking love this one. Smoke from Canada wildfires is increasing health risks in Black and poorer U.S. communities.
What I love about this is that it assumes that the smoke is like, ooh,
It's so
let's
stupid.
let's go to Harlem, but let's avoid, the Upper East Side of New York.
I want to go to Soho or
yeah.
Manhattan.
No,
I'm going to go straight to Brooklyn.
Yep, I'm gonna attack those poor folks down there that can't
Oh,
make
my
a living,
God.
can't afford. Oh God, yeah, that was pretty great. So there's
CTV News. CTV News. Okay, that's mainstream media for Canada. Period.
Yep.
Done.
Yep. And we move on.
Oh my God, it's just so fucking amazing.
Doesn't stop.
So okay, we gotta get to the sun being the EU. And just today, the United States is committing itself to research science that can stop the sun from creating climate change.
You know what I love about this? What I love about this is if you take the premise of the climate cult, which is that CO2
Oh God.
is causing a sort of global change in climate, because what they're claiming is that the sun comes down and it hits the surface of the earth. It comes down and it gets through this sheet of CO2, because apparently CO2 only faces one direction. So the all the energy from the sun comes down, it gets through the CO2 sheet, bounces off the surface of the earth, but then it can't go back out because CO2 is only reflective in one direction. So it reflects the heat back down. And that's why we're getting so warm. So what is their answer? Well, let's block all the sunlight that's coming down.
Okay. I gotta know. Is this a pivot, though? Is this a pivot away from actual climate science? Oh, we gotta worry about CO2. And now we're pivoting towards we need to stop the sun.
Well, I mean,
nobody's buying it anymore. We've seen there's no global warming in like the last 9 years. It's not happening.
No, it's cooling. We're cooler. This was
actually
the
cooling.
Second coolest June on record. Second coolest June on record. And if you want to go with the premise that more CO2 means more temperature rise, then that would mean we wouldn't have such a cool June. But we did.
I think it's a war. Yeah. I think it's a war on the sun.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we're pivoting. So we got the war on pizza this week, and now we have the war on the sun. I mean, it's absurd. Either you admit that the sun is responsible for climate, or you say, no, the sun's not responsible, people are responsible. You have to pick one. You can't say it's both. And they're trying to say it's both. The sun is just going to admit this, but we need to block it because we're doing so much damage. I mean, this is actually one that I know we're not going to spend a lot of time on. I'm just going to say this one thing, then we can move on. This one actually scares me. And I'll tell you why, because if they actually follow through with their plans and they start this, they're now admitting to, geoengineering, which we all know they've been doing. Yeah. I mean, chemtrails are a thing, guys. Well, and
you don't want to believe it.
And cloud, not salting.
Cloud seeding.
Cloud seeding. Yeah. That's well documented.
They did that for the Beijing Olympics. So they've been doing this for a long time. So whether or not you want to admit it, it's happening. If they do this, if they proceed with this plan, it will throw us into another ice age. I mean, you will have snow in Phoenix, 6 months out of the year. Not to mention what happens to everybody north of you. It's a disaster. If they put enough seed stuff in the atmosphere to lower the global temperature by, let's say, 2 degrees Celsius, that is absolutely more than enough to throw us into another ice age. So, pull out your fucking parkas, people. Get your snowshoes out. Forget your fucking car, because it's not going to drive.
If I get 75 degrees year round in Arizona, are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, we're moving back there.
Oh, you're goddamn right you are.
Oh yeah, we're back. Whiskey Hill will be 100% Phoenix driven.
I thought the EU article was fantastic. You guys can look at show notes. The fact that our president said, "Hey, we should totally look at putting up." We're talking about blocking the sun. We're gonna put a gigantic umbrella up. It's straight out of fucking Highlander.
Yeah, exactly.
What was it? Was it the second Highlander? Was it the sequel or was it the third one?
Sequel. No, it was. I think it was.
Okay, so it's the second one where they tried to fuck with the sun. They wanted to go ahead and block it out. They put up some kind of fucking shield, and then it just like everybody everything turned into shit.
Well, what's the premise of the Matrix, right? The machines had this unlimited power from the sun, so the humans scorched the sky.
They scorched the earth, yeah.
Right. So that they couldn't get any more solar power. So then they started using humans for their batteries.
We didn't even get to that point yet, and we're already doing that.
And that's the other point of this, is that let's I'm gonna just let you have all of the climate bullshit, and you think that blocking out the sun is the answer. Great. So all of the plant life that doesn't get the sunlight it needs to make ATP, which is, again, what is the basis for our whole food pyramid. Everything's based on plants making ATP. Also, the only way for your body to break down vitamin D is to get the fucking sun on your skin. That's the only way we know how. You can take all the vitamin D supplements you want, but if you don't get sun on your skin,
you can't process
it's going to come out your ass. Yeah, it's gone. So humans are going to be completely vitamin D deficient. I mean, the list goes on. Let's talk about the ecosystems in the ocean that need the algae blooms and the plankton and the phytoplankton to grow off this. I mean, you are talking about a global catastrophe if you even fuck with the atmosphere a little bit. A little bit. I don't mean the 0.2% of CO2. I mean, they're talking about blocking out 25 to 30% of the sun's rays. That's
how about we just leave shit alone? Can we do
How
that?
about that? Great idea. Second cheers goes to McShane's for leaving shit alone.
Oh my God. Let's call it a night. I just found another article on that. It's a Fox article. The White House reports signals openness to manipulating sunlight.
It's insanity. It's obscene. We do have one more thing that I want to make sure we get to.
All right.
Who did that study? I'm looking. Reuters came out with an article. I'm looking now to see who. I don't know who did the study, but
what topic?
I'm sorry. It's the they did a study of every American president, and every single one has ties to slavery, except for one.
It's right here.
Except for one, and
except
I'll
for
let you
Donald.
Guess. It's the Donald. He has no ties to slavery. So say what you want about that fucking piece of shit. And his misogynistic ways and whatever else. His family has literally never owned slaves, but every other American president and vice president. They went even that far. Every American president and vice president has ties to slavery, except for Donald Trump. That is an outstanding stat. Go America. Happy 4th of July.
Right? Right.
Shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's and it's on the heels of what the Supreme Court did.
Yes, exactly.
Biden, Obama, Bush, Clinton, Carter. Among America's political elite, Reuters found that 5 living presidents. Let's continue on. I don't like how they did this.
Yeah,
2
I don't
Supreme
either.
Court justices. Which one were they? Come on. 11 governors. 100 legislators. All have family that had slaves. You know what's interesting about this whole picture here, outside of Obama? Everybody's white. Except for one. There's one Asian in here. But
well, and then I mean, then you go back on Obama's grandma's side, and she's white, and she had slaves, or she didn't. Her family had slaves. And then quickly, because we're gonna wrap up right now, I promise. But all of you out there, please go and investigate the link between malaria cases in Florida and Texas, and then where the mosquitoes that are carrying the malaria, where they came from. And I'm not going to give away the answer, dates, but I want you all to research who owns the company and the rights to this mosquito manufacturing. Why would you manufacture mosquitoes? Breed them. I guess breed is the better word.
okay.
But anyway, they carry malaria, and then take it a step further and go and look at who's creating a new malaria vaccine. Just do that research. That'll set us up for next week. It'll be fucking fantastic.
Are we gonna hold it to next week?
I just wanted to throw that out there. I mean, if you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. But I think I kind of gave away all the goods on that one.
You know what? Malaria will hold off till next week. It's
Okay.
all right. But yes, you should definitely go look up malaria and BioNTech.
BioNTech. Yep.
And go ahead and look up COVID while you're at it. I'm just saying.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
fuck.
So that's the other link to that story. Is the
That's what I was trying to leave it there, but
okay. All right. BioNTech. Okay. Anyway.
come on,
right.
we do all this research all the time. We want our listeners to get to be able to research at the level that we are, so they can start giving us stuff, and it takes some of the load off of us and how much we have to research.
Yep.
It's a 24/7 job, and we fucking love being able to bring this to you guys. So thank you.
We love it. We love it, but it's it gets to be a lot. So yeah, the more and you know what, dude, if we could inspire some sort of citizen army, some sort of underground fucking rebellion, journalist rebellion.
Yep.
I would love that. And so we would love to be the hub of that, or even just a spoke of that. And all the people that we mentioned on the show that we've talked about in the last few weeks that are reaching out to us, that are having conversations with us, we want to be a part of all of you, but we also want you to be a part of what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to take all of us to derail this ridiculous machine.
Shit show.
Yeah.
Oh God, we so much. We missed a woman burning off her penis.
What'd you just say? A woman burning off her penis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it
all
happened.
right.
Meta hired a CIA agent to head their election policies. We didn't get to the Argentina death flight. We're so setting ourselves up for 2 shows a week, Fitz. I don't know what to tell you.
I know. So much stuff comes out. We got the leg extension guy.
Oh, we didn't get to that guy. We didn't get to half of the Biden stuff because he walked off camera and he said some goofy shit like
on live TV
that Putin was losing Iraq. That was fantastic. We never got to that stuff. We got whistleblower stuff we didn't get to.
That's true. The Biden thing, when he got up and walked off on live TV, it was so fun to troll people because they were like, "Oh, this happens all the time." No, I used to work for a TV station, and people get up all the time. No, they don't.
No,
please.
No, they don't.
I said on Twitter, I said, show me one clip of a guest getting up and leaving before the segment was over.
And they weren't storming off because they were pissed.
Right, exactly. But even when Russell Brand, he just fucking undressed the 3 hosts I mean, because they were trying to talk about him like he wasn't there, and he's like, "Hi, I'm right here, and your claims are ridiculous." And I mean, you know who Russell Brand is. He fucking undressed them. He was pissed, and he still waited for a commercial. Yeah, he waited for a commercial before he got up and walked out. Biden doesn't know who the fuck he is or where he is, and so stop trying to say that he does. Unbelievable.
You know what? It's okay.
Yeah, so
embrace that he's an old dude and he needs to go chill
please
in a corner.
Can we just all be honest about this and stop making it political? He's an old guy. Let him go to bed.
He's done.
Yeah.
He's done with his strap on with his ball gag on his face. Hey, what beer are you taking to bed, Fitz?
All right. In all honesty, Death's Tar was a phenomenal beer. I'm just not in the mood to take her to bed tonight. She's too dirty. She's too in my face. Just I think you know what? She's damaged goods. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah.
Poor girl.
Yeah.
I mean, can't fix. You saying you don't want to fix her then?
I can't fix her, exactly. I don't have time for that tonight. I want intimacy. I want subtlety.
All right.
I want romance.
All right.
I don't want someone showing up with a fucking thorned scourge ready to rip my skin off my face, which is what that beer is. So I'm gonna go with Darwin's Forehead.
Wow. Okay.
Really,
cool.
Really well done. Again, I've never had a salted brown porter. Really well done beer. Very sort of unusual and unique, but also crisp, clean, nutty, malty, smooth. Just kind of what you want on a Saturday night. Just like you could, if you had a 4-pack of this or a 6-pack, you could just sit and watch a movie and just be great with this one beer. You wouldn't have to switch it up at all. Just a really phenomenal beer. So that's not to take away from anything else I had, but that was definitely a superior beer. So what about you?
I'm actually going to take the brewery at Torito Farms barrel aged Doppelbock. That's the third beer of the night. And the only reason I'm doing that is that this was the unique beer.
Yeah.
Very great mouthfeel. Just very fun. Not your typical Doppelbock. When you can take a darker German beer and really punch it up a bit, make it an 8.4. Very drinkable too. Like if I could find a few 6-packs of this, I'd stash this away. I would send this up to you. That's probably my litmus test there. I would send it up to you. Really solid Doppelbock. Really enjoyed it. But I almost went 3 for 3 though. I really enjoyed the Desert Monk Brewing Dark Robes. Fantastic everyday beer. Long Live the King from Weathered Souls was a great Imperial Porter. It didn't have the unique qualities that I was looking for. So I'm glad we got to that third one.
Yeah, me too. No, it was a fantastic night. Again, kind of rare, but also, guys, there's just so much going on in the world. There's so much to get to. We literally only got to probably half our dock tonight. We will probably carry some of these stories over to next week. But just, stay vigilant, head on a swivel. Don't be afraid of what's going on because so 90% of it's a play. It's just to get a rile out of you. Yeah, exactly. So don't go for the head fake. And just stay the course. We're gonna be okay. We have some tough times ahead. I'm not saying we don't, but we're gonna be okay. And we just need to be better informed than the guy next door. And so that's why we do this show. That's why we're glad you all listen to this show. That's why we reach out to the people that we do. We want to know more. We want you to know more. So, and also have some fucking good beer on hand, just in case things do go to shit. Because the beer will make it okay.
Amen. I'm Steve McShane.
I'm Fitz. Love all you guys.
Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon.